afternoon. We're back home again in Indiana for a big game. And remember your history books, Tippecanoe and Tyler too. Here's part of that history in Lafayette, Indiana, home of Purdue University, where today the Notre Dame Fighting Irish, who are undefeated, meet Purdue, still looking for its first win under Fred Akers, who's come up here after 10 years at Texas. And good afternoon, everyone. I'm Jim Simpson. If you talk about Purdue and Notre Dame, let us start with Notre Dame aside from Tim Brown. Notre Dame has averaged getting the ball on turnovers 5 times per ball game. That includes their 1 turnover. 5 times each game they get the ball in outstanding field position. On the other hand, Purdue, in their loss to the University of Washington, 4 interceptions, a fumble return for a touchdown. Against Louisville, they missed 3 field goals. They were penalized 15 times, and they missed 2 two-point conversions, and they wound up with a tie. So Purdue's not playing that kind of football. Steve Davis, when you get to the subject of mistakes and non-mistakes, for an underdog like Purdue, a game like this could mean a big difference.
Well, I've always felt like my playing experience has taught me that great rivalries bring out the best in football teams. The true character of a team generally is revealed in situations like this. And regardless, when you're playing a good team, you play to your best, your ability, regardless of past performance. And that's the real story, I think, today in the ballgame.
And what about when we get away from generalities that they got to play better? Does Purdue have a chance? What must they do? I guess Notre Dame just rolls along as usual, they hope.
Well, no doubt. Notre Dame is the charm team, a 24-point favorite. It's not broke. Don't fix it. They'll continue the same. They're hitting on all cylinders. They're doing an exceptional job in all areas of the ball game as we see Notre Dame come on the field. They are really doing well. All 3 phases of the ball game are contributing, and Lou Holtz is a very happy man. For Purdue, they've got problems. They've got to take the pressure off their quarterback, Doug Downing. The offensive line has been inconsistent, has got to do a better job. They've got to create a running game, and if all that doesn't work, I think maybe what they ought to do, there's Fred Akers of Purdue.
Still looking for that first win. That in order to get it, they've got to play better football, error-free football, and be able to bottle lightning. Lightning, in this case, Tim Brown, and those kickoff and punt returns. Ross Edge Stadium sold out for the 18th consecutive time for a Notre Dame-Purdue game. And let us remind you, Dave Dowles told him about the numbers of times that Air Forsegian lost when he was #1. But overall, 5 times Notre Dame has faced Purdue, ranked #1 in the nation, and 5 times, those 5 times, they were upset.
Well, the big upset is the possibility that I really believe Purdue, Fred Akers said they've not put everything together, not played 1 complete half. I believe they're poised and ready. As I said, Doug Downing has to have the pressure off of him. The offensive line, the running game have to surface. They have not. And then, like I said earlier, if all that doesn't work, then please, in the pregame prayer, I just hope they're saying something like, "Dear Lord, don't let the best team win."
And don't let Timmy Brown have the ball too much. Those big folks up in the sky who decide such things have said, as we watch the toss of the coin, that Notre Dame is favored, highly favored, by more than 3 touchdowns. We shall see. Let's go down to a man on the field, John Snyder.
Jim and Steve, injuries could play a major part in this game today. Anthony Hardy, outstanding wide receiver of Purdue, has a knee injury, but will play in the game today. For Notre Dame, Cedric Figueroa, outstanding linebacker, a badly bruised leg, but will start. Wes Pritchard, a linebacker. Jeff Kuntz, defensive tackle, will not start in the game with knee injuries. A couple of young sophomores will take their places in the game today. They will play. How much remains to be seen. Both coaches are very candid. Lou Holtz and Fred Akers. They do not have a great deal of depth, and injuries to any starter, whether or not that starter would be a star or not, could be very damaging.
Thank you, John, and we look forward to your reports throughout the game as you roll to the sidelines in this game between Purdue and Notre Dame. Indian summer, 74 degrees, low humidity, slight wind, and the forecast is sunny and clear, and for an outstanding football game. Talking about Anthony Hardy, he is going deep. He will be back there to receive the kickoff of Ted Grottle. Hardy is back there with Jared Scales, a freshman who can fly. Now, Hardy is number 11. He's a transfer from Wichita State. Wichita State dropped football, as you know. Well, he came over here, and Fred Akers said he's the best-looking player on the team. But he hurt his knee last week against Louisville, and for a while they did not think he would start. Notre Dame and Purdue, they teed up again for the Shillelagh. That goes to the winner, the little goal football, to hang on an actual Irish Shillelagh to the winner. And this is Hardy going deep to the sidelines and dropping the football at the 5. Hardy, good-looking run, keeps his feet and gets out near the 20 after a near disastrous start. And so Purdue Windlass goes on offense. Doug Downing, the hometown quarterback of Lafayette, Indiana. Jerry Cheney will start today, a senior out of Port Arthur, Texas, along with James Medlock in the backfield. One split end, Anthony Hardy, who just returned the kick, and the other is Calvin Williams, who's caught a touchdown pass already this year. Spot the ball at the 18-yard line, 1st and 10, Purdue. And Notre Dame has gotten off to big starts with the mistakes of their opponents. That's what the Boilermakers do not want to do. Medlock, the lone setback. Downing comes out throwing and fires out here, and the ball is dropped at the 24-yard line. Ball intended for Jerry Cheney out of the backfield, starting at tailback. Offensively, their line, a veteran line, Brad Schumacher, the tight end. Out of Addison, one tackle, Mike Connors, weighs 272. Guard Anthony Rose at 275. It is not a small line, is it? Kreitz, 255 in the middle. 272 is Keith Brown, one guard, and on the other side, Jim Richmond at 290. 2nd down, 10 from the 18. Downing looks to throw again and puts the ball up for grabs, and it's out of bounds. The ball intended for Calvin Williams. Defensively for the Fighting Irish, and they have had outstanding success this year. Gorman, Griffin, and Flannery, the forward wall. Figaro, Gordon, Harris, and Bolkar, the linebackers. Spence, Smagata, Streeter, and Southall in the secondary. Purdue has thrown the ball twice, unsuccessful twice. 3rd down. Downing rolling the same way, looking to throw one more time. Throws, and again incomplete. And for the 2nd time, it is intended for Calvin Williams. And it's 4th down, and Notre Dame will get the football, and that means Steve Davis. Tim Brown will go back deep.
One of the things that Purdue wanted to do is we look at Andy Hardy, number 11. It's a catch-a ball. Excuse me, it's not Hardy. It's Williams, 88. Catchable ball. He's got to be moving. He's got his feet. He's out of balance. He's got to be moving where the ball is, and that time he wasn't.
There he is, Tim Brown. 2 first-quarter punt returns, and will get the ball in outstanding field position as Sean McCarthy, all 6'7" of him, will kick the ball away. Averaging 41 yards per punt. The rush is on, and Brown has to drop back inside his 35-yard line. There may be a roughing the kicker penalty, and Brown is going to go down and actually takes a seat before they reach him at the 34. But Purdue will get the ball 1st and 10 as McCarthy was roughed. They'll bring it back. And that'll give us a chance to talk about, well, let's talk about the officials after you see this.
One thing Notre Dame has not done, they have not beaten themselves. Here is a very foolish mistake. They're going to get great field position. Number 1, Todd Light, the freshman, he makes the mistake.
And there's the referee, Jim Kemmerling, telling us that that is the situation. I'm sure they'll get the ball back. Umpires Jim Owens, Ed Marisich, the head linesman, line judge Joe Brimmeyer, field judge Ken Baker, Jim Klingensmith is the side judge, and the back judge is Mike Nevin. Brad Akers along the sideline. And they're not going to take the penalty. They're going to give the ball to Notre Dame at the 35. And I would like an explanation from Jim Kemmerling. They're tossing the flag back, and Notre Dame's got the football.
I wonder, did he pick up the flag? Did he pick up the flag?
Well, they went back downfield and brought the flag back up.
Did he give us a signal?
I did not see it. It must have been that they decided that was not. 5-yard penalty. There's 4th and 10 on the 5-yard penalty was not enough. Not a flagrant. There's Kenny Brown running out of the backfield, and Brown gets across the 40-yard line. They will move him in to that backfield from the flanker back position. But when we start with the Notre Dame offense, you've got to start with the quarterback, Terry Andrusat, the senior out of Allen Park. And one running back is Mark Green out of Riverside, California. Anthony Johnson is the other, the sophomore. Split end, Pat Terrell, number 15. And Tim Brown, who just carried the ball, listed as a flanker and right now in motion on 2nd down. Out to the 45-yard line. Comes Andrzejczyk. The offensive line for Notre Dame, the tight end is Andy Heck out of Annandale, Virginia, suburb of Washington. Tom Rader at tackle, all 265 pounds. Guard, Tom Freeman, 265. At center, Chuck Lanza at 270. Jeff Pearson out of Chicago, 251 guard. And the youngster on that starting line out of Aurora, Illinois, Byron Spruell. It is a first down on the carry by Andrzejczyk. And a whistle blows. Alonzo Jefferson was in motion. But I believe this time the penalty again is against Notre Dame. And we'll recall that last week against Louisville here, 15 penalties, 135 yards against Purdue. Thus far, there have been 2 penalties against Notre Dame. Bisco, Keevers, Hitchcock, Conover, your front 4. Williams, Strickland, and DeBose, the linebackers. Hitchcock, a surprise starter in the defensive line. Dishman and Jackson, the cornerbacks for Purdue. And Jackson is a freshman. And Kelson and the veteran Mark Foster, the safeties. First and 15 from the 40-yard line. No score. First quarter early on. Not 2 minutes gone yet. Andrzejczyk, deep drop. Andrzejczyk going deep, and it is caught. That is Anthony Johnson down to the 10-yard line. Johnson gets behind everybody. They were concentrating. Gerald Williams, a linebacker, got him. They were concentrating on Tim Brown double coverage, and Johnson got loose.
Purdue plays a lot of man coverage, and this is what happens. Out of the backfield, Johnson comes. He's working on a linebacker who has less speed, not quite as talented, and he gets way behind him, and all Andrzejczyk has to do is throw the ball up and let him walk under it. That's the mismatches that Notre Dame tries to create on the field.
A 60-yard pass play. Time is called while they move the sticks. It is first and goal to go. Johnson last year, as a freshman, was a tailback. He was running out of the fullback slot there. First and goal to go, Notre Dame. Well, you keep your mind on a Tim Brown, and here comes an Anthony Johnson, who has already scored a touchdown this year against
like Lou
one
Holt.
of those Michigan teams.
Lou Holt said this is not a Tim Brown team. It's not exclusive of Tim Brown. They have other weapons and other abilities.
2 tight ends in there, Frank Jacobs and Andy Heck both. Full house backfield. And here comes Alonzo Jefferson, and Jefferson drops the football and gets it back. Well, Notre Dame not guilty of giving up the ball, but once in the 2 previous games almost gave it up there. Second and goal to go at the 8-yard line.
Again, full house backfield, trying to create the best in terms of blocking and to protect the football. Good effort by Purdue to get in and make concentration. And then all of a sudden, he just loses concentration. Jefferson and drops the ball. No one really knocked it away. He's very fortunate to have fallen on it.
Keep your eye on Tim Brown. He's out there with single coverage at the 10-yard line. Andrzejczyk looking, and now throwing over the head of Andy Heck in the end zone. It is third down and goal to go. Outstanding coverage.
I think the toughest test for Terry Andrzejczyk, the quarterback, is not to so much concentrate all the time on Tim Brown. Tim Brown is covered. Now go find the alternate receiver, and he does. Andy Heck is on the other side, but you know every time he's looking for his #1 receiver in Brown.
McManus is in the ball game. He was the one that was covering Andy Heck. Now it is third down and goal to go. Brown in motion toward the line of scrimmage. Andrzejczyk looking to throw. The same pass play again, and over the head again of Andy Heck, and it's fourth down and goal to go. Derek Kelson on the coverage, but again Andrzejczyk too long, and in comes Ted Glauber.
Nothing will help Purdue more than to be able to keep Notre Dame out of the end zone on this particular drive. Purdue runs a lot of man coverage. They are in man again, and if you can play man, you can play zone. Good effort. He's well covered, and the ball is overthrown.
Rattle, a former walk-on, will try a 25-yard field goal. Angle left to right. He's 4 for 6 on the year. 25 yards out. Rattle's kick is good, and Notre Dame takes the lead. We'll be right back with more Big Ten football in the meetings. They've been split. And only USC has beaten Notre Dame more than Purdue has. Rattle kicks off. Again, a tough look. or Hardy, and he gets up to about the 20-yard line, maybe the 19-yard line only, where he is put down and put down hard by Ned Bolcar, a linebacker. So now, remember, Doug Downing threw on every down, and they wound up 4th and 10. And Hardy, remember, hurt his knee against Louisville. Hardly practiced this week at all, and now comes limping off the field again. He is their offensive weapon. Leads the club with 11 catches. Leads the club in kickoff returns. He's their punt return man, but he's not in there now. Todd Moore, a freshman out of Austin, Texas, where Fred Akers hails from recently, is in there and wide to the right. Andrzak, first running play and a yard or two only for James Medlock, the senior out of Waycross, Georgia, number 34. Medlock last week against Louisville had 125 yards in 25 carries. A tailback a year ago, 6'2", 226. Second down and about 9 to go. That's the first yard that Purdue has picked up against the Notre Dame offense today. Again, the widespread offense for Doug Downing. Downing, 4th pass. This time he's going to be successful. Successful to Todd Moore, the freshman who came in for Anthony Hardy. And that's a first down for Purdue at the 33-yard line.
I am convinced that you can't put all the pressure on Doug Downing this time. Offensive line does a great job. You've got a blitz in there by the Notre Dame linebacker. They pick it up. He's got plenty of time. He takes a couple of extra seconds and then throws a perfect strike.
The last time Notre Dame was here, not under Lou Holtz, but Jerry Faust, Jim Everett threw for 368 yards, most ever against Notre Dame, and Notre Dame was beaten 35-17. First down. Medlock has no place to go. Hanging on to him is Cedric Figaro, the outside linebacker. Packed Ross-Age Stadium. Not everybody is here yet, although it is sold out. Now, here you are. 17 times since 1950, Purdue has won this football game. And on 14 of those 17 times, Notre Dame was in the top 20. 5 times, they were number 1. Second down and 10 from the 32-yard line. 2 wide receivers to the wide side of the field. 3-0, Notre Dame leads. And Medlock runs right into a mass of people. Fred Akers talked about wanting to develop the running game, but hasn't in this game. Let's go to John Snyder on the sidelines.
Anthony Hardy is back in the game at wide receiver for Purdue, but he did twist the knee that he injured last week against Louisville, and it's going to be almost a series-to-series thing as to how much he will play this afternoon.
All right, John, it's 3rd and 9 from the 34-yard line. Notre Dame's defense has been almost impregnable, aside from the catch by Todd Moore. But remember, a couple of balls have been dropped as thrown by Doug Downing. 3rd down. Andrzak rolling left this time. Gets the ball away and overthrows a man who was wide open. Brad Schumacher, the tight end, was standing all by himself on the sidelines, and he overthrew it. It's 4th down.
In the pregame, I was talking about Doug Downing and being a senior with sophomore experience. What happens? Schumacher breaks away, and Doug Downing just doesn't throw the ball properly, doesn't take it off. Let's watch what happens in terms of Figaro. I would say that's a late hit. He's trying to back off of him.
In any event, it's 4th down and 9, and Tim Brown again goes deep. Remember, Brown had little or no return last time on the roughing the kicker. The defense was right on him. Again. Ball is kicked away by Sean McCarthy, and Brown pursues it to the far side inside the 20-yard line. And there's coverage there, and Brown goes down again. Twice now. He has gone down this time inside the 20. First quarter, 9:14 to go. Notre Dame leads 3-0 over Purdue.
We made it! Our first real deal! Now if we can just make our flight.
We got red hot cars. We got a red hot crew.
And now we've got roving rapid return. It's going to get you out of here fast.
Avis
coaches of Purdue about Tim Brown.
I referred to his ability earlier in the week by saying he's like grabbing a piece of electricity. You know, he's like a lightning bolt, and he's a sudden, gifted athlete, and he's a challenge. You know, for anybody, anytime he's on the field, he's a definite challenge.
Andrzejczyk straight ahead and is hit at the line of scrimmage and goes forward a yard or two. Looked like Chris Keevers, number 70, made the stop. The senior tackle out of Indiana, Noblesville. One of the several that came over from Coffeyville Junior College, Bill Gaudet, who normally starts alongside him, is from that same junior college. Second down, 8 to go for Notre Dame. They lead by 3. Sack to his running back, and that's Mark Green. And Mark Green gets across the 25-yard line and is hit there on top. You can see Tony Visco, perhaps their best defensive lineman, number 49. Last week, new school record by holding Louisville to minus 31 yards rushing. Purdue did everything right in that game except win it, and they beat themselves. 15 penalties. Missed 3 field goals, went for the 2-point conversion twice and failed, and they wound up tied with Louisville. Third down and short. Purdue hasn't had one of those yet. Notre Dame's got it this time and has the first down. I believe they've got the first down. They're going to move the sticks. In any event, Anthony Johnson, the ball carrier, and his first down, Notre Dame out near the 30-yard line. Big Ten football on the Big Ten Network next week at 11 o'clock Central Time, 12 noon Eastern Time. Don't know yet which game, but we'll be back next week and every week throughout the season. The quick pitch back, and not much there for Ricky Waters, a real top freshman out of Harrisburg, Pennsylvania. Waters was a highly recruited back.
What has made Tim Brown a great player, the coaches say, the way he practices, he works. He can do more than just run and catch the football. Watch him here do his assignment to get a man on the ground and force him a different path. Timmy Brown, the coaches say, what makes him a great player is ability and practice to work hard and set the pace.
Talking about Timmy Brown, Ricky Waters, who just carried the ball, one high school team when they played him passed on 4th down rather than kick the ball to Waters because he had a habit of running him back for touchdowns. And he's a man that you don't even talk about hardly outside of South Bend. Most people are talking about Tim Brown. The 25-second clocks are not in sync, and that's why the referee, Jim Kemmerling, has come over and sent to the Purdue bench. And now he'll go over and tell Lou Holtz and Notre Dame the same thing. That's why time has been called here.
Lou Holtz has got to be pleased early in the ball game. They're controlling things.
5 seconds on that clock, 25 seconds on that clock.
Force that turnover now, boy.
Now they're ready.
It's an engineering school, isn't it?
And now he'll tell it to the quarterbacks. 3-0 on a 25-yard field goal by Ted Grover. That's where we are. Notre Dame did have 1st and 10 inside the 10. 1st and goal. 2nd down now, 8 to go.
Let's go. Hit it.
Andrzejczyk gets the ball away, intended for Brown, and it is no good. Double coverage down there with number 1, the freshman, Steve Jackson, starting at the cornerback spot today, the man that went right up in the air with him.
We're going to isolate on Tim Brown, but the story of this play is Terry Andrzejczyk. Here is a senior quarterback who is frustrated a little bit, trying to concentrate on throwing the ball too much to Brown. He is covered. Go find somebody else. He throws a bad ball. It doesn't make any sense. He's trying to make a big play, and you will make mistakes, and you will force yourself into long situations just like now.
But it is not a long situation, because while you were talking about that, they've given us the indication face mask charged against Purdue, and Notre Dame gets a penalty.
The point is he's lucky.
We have a personal foul against the defense. First down.
That moves it out to the 48-yard line, and that was the problem with Purdue. Last week, remember, 15 times they were penalized last week. Almost a Big Ten record. First down and 10 to go. 3-0 Notre Dame. They've got the ball at their own 47. Purdue 19 penalties for 175 yards. And they're running with the football as Alonzo Jefferson, the senior out of West Palm Beach, Florida, who has good speed, gets a couple of yards and moves into Purdue territory.
As I said earlier, Lou Holtz has got to be somewhat content with the way his team's playing right now. This is his style of play. They like to get in short yardage situations on 2nd and 3rd down. They're very predictable. When Coach Holtz is in a situation where he can control the ball game, he's very conservative. When he's pressed, he becomes much more extravagant. Right now, he's in his control mode.
Reggie Ward left, Tim Brown right on 2nd down 5. And that's the up man, the fullback. Johnson gets the ball down inside the 35-yard line. Alonzo Johnson starting today over Cornell Taylor, the senior.
The real strength of the Notre Dame offensive line, I believe, in looking at the film on Thursday, is Freeman at guard, Lands at center, and Pearson the other guard. They really move that line of scrimmage back an extra yard or two, and that gives Andrzak and Notre Dame a chance to really be effective in the running game.
Notre Dame on the drive. First down, Andrzak pitching the ball out, and there goes Mark Green. Green down inside the 20-yard line, almost to the 15. Another first down for Notre Dame.
People wonder why a play like that happens. Who's out there playing support? When Purdue is playing man coverage, they're spread out. So the man that's got to play support and got to make the play, he's way out of position. He's got to come a long way. They block, and it causes him to come a long way because he's playing pass defense. There he is right there making the tackle, but that's the problem when you're in a man situation. You drop back and you're worried about pass.
Notre Dame, should they score here, it'll be their longest drive of the year for a score. Well, Taylor goes nowhere. It is 2nd down 10. Stacked up in the middle. We are in West Lafayette, Indiana, the home of the All-American Marching Band, the Golden Girl, the Silver Twins, and the Sportamakers. That's what the Boilermakers like to call themselves when they face Notre Dame. But the Irish, rising fast in the polls, are now all the way up to number 6. They're undefeated. They've had a field day against Michigan teams, beating Michigan and then Michigan State, and now they're trying to take a 3rd Big Ten opponent, Purdue. 2nd down, Andrzak pitching the ball out. That is Green again. Green down to about the 6-yard line and has the first down. 1st and goal to go, I do believe, Notre Dame. Let's see where they spot the ball.
Notre Dame, in preparing for the ball game, spent a lot of time watching the Washington game. Washington, with their great quarterback Chris Chandler, came out throwing the ball early, and then Purdue was able to stop them, control them. Then they went to the option game, and there were some deficiencies on the Purdue defense, the way they reacted out of their man coverage, and that's what Notre Dame's doing. They're making Purdue concentrate more on getting the men in the right position. If they're going to play back in man coverage, then you better hurry and be up there and make support. They're not doing it right now.
Notre Dame looking to run the ball on 1st down. Now they put Jefferson wide to the right. Andrzak down near the goal line is Anthony Johnson, and touchdown. 6-yard run for Johnson, and it's 9-0 Notre Dame on their longest drive of the year. Their previous high was 55 yards.
I tell you what, this is just the battle of the offensive line. It's right in front. Johnson does a great job of a little sidestep of moving back inside as the flow went to the left and pushed it in, breaking the plane for the touchdown.
Rattle, who is 5 for 5 with his extra point tries, trying to make it 10-0. And does. 4 minutes, 30 seconds to go. Notre Dame leading Purdue by the score of 10-0. And when Purdue gets the football, they need one thing they've not had thus far, and that is offense. We'll come right back with more Big Ten football in a moment. As you see, Johnson scoring the first touchdown of the game, which makes the score here at West Lafayette, Indiana. Notre Dame 10, Ross Age Stadium, and its capacity crowd. There is the man who has just scored the touchdown, Anthony Johnson. That is his 2nd touchdown of the year, by the way. Johnson, the sophomore fullback, hometown boy from South Bend, Indiana. Another hometown man, Doug Downing, had better get something going here for Purdue. 81-yard drive for Notre Dame. That's the longest they've had all year long. Rival will kick off. And again, they get the ball about to the 20-yard line where Doug Downing will take over. Now John Snyder takes over on the sidelines. I beg your pardon. Let's not go to you, John. Let's go to you, Dave Dials, back in the studio.
Auburn and Tennessee going into the game undefeated. And Auburn has scored first on a field goal, a 52-yarder by Win Lyle. That's not an NCAA record. The record's 57. Back to Ross-Ade Stadium.
All right, Dave, that's another big game today. And David Dials will keep us surprised of all of that. First down Purdue, looking for something here. And here's the best run of the day by James Medlock, who gets across the 25 to the 27-yard line, a gain of 7. It is 2nd down and 3. Medlock was a top rusher last year, but then he played fullback.
I've felt all along that Purdue had to do a great job blocking. They have not been a great offensive line. Here they're blocking Bolcar, number 47. Get him out of the play, and that's what they have not been able to do. The line play has got to surface for Purdue to have a chance.
Medlock, the lone setback on 2nd and 3. Pass out here to Hardy, makes a good step there. Hardy tries for the first down and has the first down. Hardy makes the play. Run out of bounds by Wes Pritchard, the inside linebacker. Hardy, as we said, was a transfer out of Wichita State when the Shockers dropped their football program.
The key about Andy Hardy, number 11, he hasn't worked out all week. So he's in a ball game. He's got a bum knee. He's hurt already in the early part of the game. And then look at his quickness, his ability to keep his feet, his balance, and make extra yards after the catch.
Darren Miles was scheduled to start at tailback, did not, but he's in the ball game now. Number 33 for Purdue. There's Medlock. Quick opener there, and they really took the right side of that Notre Dame line, but the linebackers came in to make the stop. And it is 2nd down and 7 to go from the 38.
Bolcar was a fullback at Notre Dame. The coaches, Coach Fazio said he was not a very good player for some reason at Notre Dame. He was a great high school player, but not a great one. They put him on offense because he's so bad. For some reason, he's the most improved player, and he made a great play. Got blocked once, not that time. 2nd
down and 6, 10-0 Notre Dame, first quarter. Downing threw a lot in the beginning, now throws again and has his man. And down he goes, smothered, put down by Cedric Figueroa. Is the big man.
Any semblance of a running attack for Purdue gives Doug Downing a chance to be effective, to find the open man a little bit more time. You get Notre Dame out of their blitz package. They're a much different team than they were in '86. In '86, they didn't blitz very much. Too early, too young. Now they're blitzing a lot more, and the tempo of a running game helps them in the game overall of being effective in the pass.
Most effective drive Purdue has had by far. Downing with the time, and boy, there's a good catch there. Miles just in the game 3 plays ago, came out of the backfield and takes the ball at the 39.
Downing's really doing a good job. Miles, the junior college transfer, he's a north-south type kid. He is tough and he is fast. The coaches are excited about his ability and what he can help. Good job by Downing.
Hardy is wide to the right. They've got 3 wide receivers to the right side.
Come on.
Not much there for the ball carrier, Scott Nelson. And now he'll be replaced by Medlock. 2nd down. 1:45 to go, first quarter. Notre Dame with an 81-yard drive. Johnson going over, plus a field goal by Driver leads 10-0. Ball is at the 38-yard line of Notre Dame for Purdue, sending Hardy wide to the left and bringing Calvin Williams to the right. Downing has his man. Medlock, first down at the 25-yard line. James Medlock. First down, Purdue.
The coaches coming into the ball game felt like they had to reduce the package. They were too expansive last week in their offense. They wanted to do less things. This is great. It takes the pressure off Downing. He's moving around. He finds Metlock. It's a linebacker on a back. It's a good matchup. Downing is really playing with more confidence because he's having to do less. Last week he had his plate full, and now they've reduced the size of the plate.
George Streeter put him out of bounds. And now Schumacher was on the wrong side of the line of scrimmage, so Downing puts him over to the other side. Run by Medlock, who just caught the pass. Now, that's just a 3-yard gain there, Steve Davis, but back in the early going at the other end of the field, Medlock didn't get a 1-yard gain. Now, next week, we will either have Ohio State at Illinois or Michigan State at Iowa. That'll be at noon Eastern time. And at night, we will see Purdue again at Minnesota and welcome the return of Chris Schenkel, who was out ill for our last nighttime game. Chris is home from the hospital and is fine and probably watching today. After all, Chris went to Purdue. 2nd down and 8 to go. Downing. Got a man out there, Hardy, and they're going to throw a flag. They're going to throw a couple of flags. It's on Marv Spence. Hardy was breaking across the field at the 5-yard line, and Spence just gave him a big bump and probably saved the touchdown.
You've got to be impressed with the guts of Andy Hardy. The guy's not. He's hobbled a little bit. He makes a good break. Good effort by Spence to move, but he goes right through him. It's interference. It's obvious. He's all over his back. He's got to give him a right to the football, and he prohibited that in the way he went about him. Good play by Anthony Hardy.
They're marking it off now, and they'll move the sticks. It will be a 1st down. They'll move the ball inside the 10-yard line to the 8-yard line. 1st and goal to go for Purdue.
We have pass interference against the defense. 1st down.
Great job by Purdue's offensive line. Notre Dame blitzed, and this suspect offensive line did a fantastic job of picking up the blitzing linebacker and giving Doug plenty of time to throw the ball.
This will be, should Notre Dame be scored upon here, the closest they've been in any ball game in the 1st quarter. They've had 29 first-quarter points against Michigan and Michigan State, but they haven't been scored on yet. First down. Downing throws. This man was walked away and bumped out of bounds. Gary Carney down to about the 6-yard line. A pickup of 2. 2nd and goal to go. Into the ball game comes Dwayne O'Connor. A tight end Hardy goes out. Second down. Here's the pitch. And Darren Miles, who has been a big part of this drive, gets the ball inside the 5. But it is 3rd down, and that could be the last play of the 1st quarter. 15 seconds to go. They can let this run out. Volcar and Pritchett made the stop. 4 seconds, 3 seconds. They'll take the time, and that is the end of the 1st quarter. It was all Notre Dame until the last 5 minutes. Then Purdue has put together a drive. Calling an execution here for the Boilermakers. Miles sets out wide to the right. Medlock the only setback. 3rd and goal to go. Williams and Hardy left. Miles the man in motion. He'll throw that away. Oh, I thought he was trying to throw the ball away. The big tight end, Schumacher, got there. One of his receivers was tied up in front of him. It looked as though Downing had nowhere to go. He looped it high in the air, and Schumacher, who's 6'7", went up and got it. The ball was a throwaway for anybody shorter than 6'7", but not for Schumacher. His father played for Illinois in the Big Ten and later for the Los Angeles Rams. And Brad Schumacher out of Addison, Illinois, has been heard from. 3-yard TD pass. Jonathan Briggs in to add the extra point. and it's good. And for the first time this year in 3 games, Notre Dame has been scored on in the first half. It's 10-7 Notre Dame.
At the beginning of the ball game that in big rivalries you get superior effort out of talent. Brad has not played well early in the season. He's been a hot and cold player. Watch Downey. It looks like it's going to be a disastrous play. He's throwing off balance. Schumacher had fallen down, and watch him go up and use his height and come down with a fantastic catch within 3 receivers. Now watch Schumacher, number 85. One of the great plays we've seen this year already in Big Ten. Watch him. He breaks away. He's covered. Now watch him slip down. Downey's about to throw. He's tripped by the linebacker and jumps back up and goes up for the ball. Fantastic catch by Schumacher. Great effort.
Yeah, that's why, Steve, I thought he was throwing the ball away, because when I looked, Schumacher was on the ground, but he bounced up. And at 6'7", got the ball, leaping above everybody. It is his 2nd touchdown catch of the year. And one more time, when you do something this good, you deserve another look.
The coaches were really worried about him being consistent coming into the ball game. And watch the effort. He just trips on the linebacker, Pritchett, number 34. Now he's got to go from a down position all the way up. What great athleticism to be able to go and find the football.
There's the man, Brad Schumacher of Addison, Illinois, who has made this game 10-7 with help from his teammates in that long drive with 5 first downs. And now this is interesting here because Jonathan Briggs is going to kick it off from the near hash mark. Let's see what Fred Akers has in mind kicking it off from here as you take a look at the scoring drive statistics.
What is so important about that 80-yard drive, here's a team that's a 24-point underdog. They now have more confidence. They believe they can go play mouth-on-mouth slobber knock football against Notre Dame. They're not intimidated. Their confidence is growing. And this is the one thing Notre Dame doesn't want to happen. You want to take Purdue out early, and they have not been able to.
Purdue has overloaded its kicking team to the left side of the field, and they're kicking off from the left hash mark, and they're kicking off across the way where a fair catch is called for across the way. How often do you see that? Tom Byrne, the tight end, takes it on a fair catch. Back to Purdue in a moment, but now let's go to Dave Dyer.
All right, Jim, Pitt and West Virginia have traded field goals. They're tied at 3. Georgia Tech and Clemson 7-0 on a 78-yard punt returned by Donnell Wolford, and South Carolina has bolted in front of Georgia 3-0 on Colin Mackey's field goal. Now back to the Purdue-Notre Dame game,
where the score is 10-7.
What happens, a lot of people will try to keep the ball away from Tim Brown, and when you kick it short, like they did, you give up field position. It's a trade-off. Do you want Brown to have it or give him better field position?
Both wide receivers left. Andrew Zach starting from a 25-yard line. Pitch back there to Mark Green. And Green gets a few yards only, out to about the 28-yard line. John Snyder's on the sidelines.
But Phil Elliott, the defensive coordinator for Purdue, gathered his defensive unit around him before they went out in the field and said, look, you've got to watch Andrzak because he's a much better runner than we thought. They don't want him to beat him running the football. And he said, I believe that he's better than we thought he was running.
Andrzak has been averaging about 2.5 yards, a little bit less, John, in his carries until this game. 2nd down. And 10 to go. Andrzak still with the football. Has the time and puts it across the way. Incomplete across the way.
Jim, to expand John's point about Andrzak, the quarterback, as we look at the stats, let's see what happened in the first quarter. Across, you see that Purdue really wasn't able to produce anything in terms of controlling the ball. Well, let's see. Let me get my stats right here. Okay. Total yards, there it is. Notre Dame 128 to Purdue 75. And really, it's been a close matchup. That last drive made a lot of the sense in that first quarter.
Surprising thing was, Purdue had the football more seconds than did Notre Dame. Last ball was intended for Dumas, incomplete. Now it's 3rd down and 10. Andrzak with a deep drop. Has his time, and look, the ball is picked off. There's a second turnover against Notre Dame all year long, and that is Gerald Williams, the linebacker on that side. And the very thing that Notre Dame has capitalized on in its first 2 games now may have turned against them. Their turnover.
The coaches are so excited about Gerald Williams, 47. He has the potential to be great. He's keyed on the tight end most of the day. And then he just throws a bad ball. Andrzak throws it into coverage again. Williams breaks on it. He had 11 tackles last week against Washington 2 weeks ago, played poor against Louisville, and now makes a big play.
The ball is at the 22-yard line. and Downing and company are fresh from just having scored a touchdown the last time they had the football. Now it is up to the Notre Dame defense. Long count, the pitch back to Medlock. Got some running room, loses the football. And that is a fumble, and it is second down. Give him a gain of a couple of yards, but they almost turned it right back over to the Irish of Notre Dame.
They had the option play that time. Notre Dame's playing a little bit weak, or what we call soft on the corner, where their person that has to cover the pitch is a little bit farther back in the secondary. Medlock took the wrong approach. He cut it inside. If he'd have stayed outside of his blocker, he'd had a better chance.
It was Medlock who recovered his own fumble. The ball just across the 20-yard line where it is second down.
And that's out of fear rather than ability, I promise you.
Calvin Williams goes wide to the right, but two wide receivers come over here to the left. Hardy is one, and Jerry Cheney out of the backfield the other. Downing loops the ball down the sideline. Touchdown! Ball caught in the end zone by Williams. His second touchdown catch of the year. And how about this? Notre Dame trails. Purdue, the Sportermakers, trying to make it happen one more time.
The coaches felt like they had to have so many positives. Williams was another player that didn't play well in the Louisville game. This time he gets behind the defender, Figueroa, number 48, and what a great throw and catch right there over the defender.
And Briggs in to add the extra point. Well, it may not hold up, but you got to say the score is Purdue 14, Notre Dame.
Job on the touchdown reception to maintain his concentration, to stay in bounds. Figueroa, the outside linebacker, has to cover him. Watch him, it's an outside release down the sidelines. Tremendous presence of where he is. Figueroa's not watching for the ball. You can't play pass defense if you're not watching where the ball is. And then he stays in bounds right there for the touchdown.
Calvin Williams played high school football for Robert Wade at Dunbar, Baltimore. Robert Wade is now the head basketball coach at Maryland in the Atlantic Coast Conference. As a matter of fact, Williams wanted to play some basketball at Purdue, but at 5'11", just doesn't fit in with the Big Ten situation. Doug Downing, remember the balls they dropped on him in the first two series? Well, they're catching them now, and now, of those four that were not caught, two were dropped. Timmy Brown lets the ball hop, takes it inside the 10, and does not get outside the 20. Tim Brown on punt returns and kickoff returns has been less than effective thus far today. Now Notre Dame owned within its own 20. And the momentum has gone just the other way to that side of the field.
When you're playing in a big game, and it's a situation where you've got to have the big upset, and you're a 24-point underdog, you've got to be lucky. Who would have ever thought Tim Brown would back away from a kickoff because of the sun?
Strong sun. And Calvin Williams, when he caught that touchdown pass, was looking back into the sun. Cornell Taylor in there. And this is Tony Rice at quarterback, carrying the football to give him a little bit different look. And he is wrestled down by Fred Strickland, number 48, the linebacker. Rice is a sophomore out of Woodruff, South Carolina. He's a freshman in eligibility.
He was a Prop 8 player last year. Good quickness. He's still learning the system, but what he gives him, he's got a combination of strong arm and excellent quickness. His running is his talent. So they're trying to get Purdue a little bit out of tempo. And with Andrew Zach, they're going to throw it and try to find Brown. With Rice, he's a little bit more unpredictable.
Second down, 5 to go. It pitch back to Mark Green. Green looking for room to run and may have the first down, but it looks as though from here at the 27-yard line, he's about a yard or a half a yard shy. Mark Green, 39 carries, leads the club coming into the game.
Coach Holtz told me yesterday that Andrew Zach, the quarterback, has a tendency sometimes to compound his error. And now, in a situation where he's down, I can see why go to Rice, because you don't want Terry Andrzak maybe pressing too much, giving a big mistake, or causing another problem. Do an interception, Holtz goes with another quarterback.
Full house on third down on the yard. And they give the ball to Johnson. And Johnson's got the first down out near the 30-yard line. That's Mark Foster that made the stop, and there is Terry Andrzak, the senior out of Allen Park, Michigan, 1 of 6, and an interception that set up the go-ahead touchdown.
When you really analyze Notre Dame's offense, they've not moved the ball consistently. They've had big breaks because of their defense and their kicking game, and so they've really not played the kind of offense that Lou Holtz wanted them to play. And part of it is because Terry Andrzak, the quarterback's a senior with sophomore experience, and so that's part of the frustration of why you change quarterbacks if the other one makes a mistake.
They've got almost their entire second unit in there, except Tim Brown. And there's the pass from Rice, and it is caught. Pat Terrell, a sophomore, out of St. Petersburg, Florida, made the catch inside of 35. There's a flag at the 39, but maybe against Purdue. They'll talk it over.
Watch what happens. He does a great job as he breaks down Terrell, number 15, to concentrate on the football. He's got him beat. The ball is underthrown. He's got to come back for it. There's the penalty. The back. Jackson keeps his hand away, so he's trying to catch it with one hand. That's where the interference was, but he had the ability to really maintain Pat Terrell, his concentration, and catch the ball regardless of the penalty.
A defensive back a year ago, the penalty was against Purdue for pass interference, and naturally the Irish turned that down. They trailed 14-10, 11-14 to go first half, and first down at the 32-yard line of Purdue. There goes Alonzo Jefferson, and he gets down inside the 30 to the 29-yard line, where it will be second down and 6 to go. Gerald Williams, who intercepted the pass, in on the tackle, along with Fred Stickland, their leading tackler. Good look at Lafayette, West Lafayette, Indiana. Beautiful afternoon last Saturday in the month of September. Quick pitch back to Green. Green, the defender falls down, and Green gets down near a first down. A Purdue man actually just slipped, trying to keep his feet, and that was number 47, Gerald Williams, and Green was able to run right by him. Third down and short.
Whereas so many times you have a positive in playing on grass surface, that was the negative where he slipped down as we look at the quarterback comparison right now early in the ball game.
Third down. Quarterback keeps it himself. And so Rice may have the first down. If not, it's only inches to go. Notre Dame had not been scored on in the first half all year long. Lead the nation in 5 takeaways per ball game as an average. They're going to measure. And yet, it was a turnover that has cost them the go-ahead touchdown.
What Notre Dame does so well is they will give you a myriad of formation looks and yet keep the offensive line assignment so simple. Let's see if they got it.
Well, I'll take another look. Purdue's going to take another look. They got it. First down. Ball at the 23-yard line. Actually just inside the 23-yard line on a good drive by Notre Dame. Well, Akers might have a case there because that ball was actually kicked around. You saw that when they went to remeasure it. Then they had to respot it. So many coaches will harp on and talk about the spotting of the football that you don't want to hear it anymore, but there's a case where Akers may have a case of his own. Tony Brooks, a freshman running back, is in for Notre Dame. And here comes Johnson. They go to Jefferson. And Jefferson may have gotten a yard, not much more. Alonzo, that senior out of West Palm Beach, Florida, he was out 18 months with knee surgery. Before that, he had 9.4 speed in the 100-yard dash. I looked down from our Goodyear blimp, live on the Big Ten Network, and the score is Purdue 14, Notre Dame 10. And the situation called it second down and 10. 8:50 to go in the half. Rice pitches back to Green. loses the football, and Purdue gets it. Yet another turnover for Notre Dame. First down at the 23, and what happens? They turn the ball back to Purdue. Their second turnover, and only their third of the year.
Sometimes you get in a situation, this is not the option play is not a real play that Notre Dame runs a whole lot. So there's a little bit of inexperience. Mark Green just not concentrate on the football. It gets away from him. They turn it over, and Purdue gets another big chance.
And guess who did it? Gerald Williams, who intercepted the pass. We'll come back to West Lafayette, 14-10 Purdue. A junior who had 4 fumbles caused and 6 sacks last year has outdone everybody else in the nation. He has two turnovers against Notre Dame today, an interception and this latest fumble recovery. First down Purdue, they lead by 4 at the 23. Not much there. Miles carrying the football. Lou Holtz, he has never won here. He's only been in here with Minnesota, of course, but did not win at Ross-Ade Stadium. The attendance is about 300 less than capacity. It's better than 67,000. 526. They call capacity 67,861.
Lou Holtz came into the ball game stressing.
Downing is ill to his stomach. You get out, well, it's about 77 degrees right now, but when you're down there in the sunlight, in pads, and taking some hits, it feels like it's 177, and sometimes your stomach gets a little upset. Doug, nearby Lafayette, I say nearby because we're in West Lafayette.
Part of the problem, if you're a player on these early ball games, I promise you, is for Doug Downing. I mean, he's nervous. He's not, he's a senior, but he's not really a senior in terms of ability. Had an early breakfast.
Well, I'm sure he'll be back, but we're going to get another quarterback at least for a play. Back in a moment to Purdue.
Over 200 years ago, a symbol.
And a year later, he's a freshman. He's going to go in against Notre Dame.
Yeah, this is about a 9.9 cuticle bite for this young man.
The man listed ahead of him behind Downing is Sean McCarthy, but he is also their punter. And unless they do something here, and I would doubt that Mashik would put it up in the air on this.
What is so critical for him, now he took some practice snaps on the sidelines, is getting the snap. Just concentrate if you're a freshman. Just get the ball.
Get the ball and hand it to somebody. Now they made the handoff well, didn't it? How about this? Stop Nelson at the first down. They really went after Mashik, and Nelson just found a big hole.
Notre Dame takes chances. See the blitz, see the linebacker come in the play. Pritchett, number 34, he's out of position. He's got to go around him, and they break into the secondary. Great effort to break into the secondary. Another missed tackle there.
Mashik's going to think this game is easy.
No, he won't.
Why do you just hand it off? First down now. Williams, a man in motion. Downing has come back in, and he fires, and this ball is caught. And this is Anthony Hardy again. First down, Purdue, near the 40-yard line. As upset as Downing was, he still has a man like Anthony Hardy to catch the ball.
If you're Fred Akers, you've got to be excited. Downing, first of all, he's a senior, not a lot of experience. He's sick, and he throws a great ball again to Hardy, who's playing a fantastic game. 8 completions in a row for Downing, and Hardy does a great job protecting the ball and giving him a chance to go now first and 10.
7:10 to go in the first half, 14-10. Purdue has completed their last 8 passes in a row. Purdue leads. And Nelson tries to get outside. This fellow's got some speed, but a lot of people in front of him. Nowhere to go. He picked up a yard to the 40-yard line. It is second down and 10. Knocked down across the way.
Tackle on the play by Jordan Street. Gain of 1 yard.
Michigan out in front of Long Beach State. They had 7 turnovers against Notre Dame. Georgia now has gone in front of South Carolina. Michigan's 7 turnovers were the most in 26 years. That's why Notre Dame is able to handle them so easily. Second down and 9. Downing, the quick pitch back. And look at this run here down the sideline. Goes Miles and knocked out of bounds by Stan Smagala, but it's first and goal to go inside the 8. Miles didn't even start today. They put the sophomore Cheney in ahead of him. But on the last touchdown drive, Miles was in evidence, and here he comes again.
What happened on this? They put Corny Southall, the free safety. There he is. He's got to come all the way across the field to support for the option play, and he wasn't there. He was not able. Watch the great block right now. Good effort by Calvin Williams, 88. He caught a touchdown pass. Now he makes a great block on number 1 and is able to put him down on the field. That was Todd Light, the freshman.
Purdue leads 14-10. First and goal to go at the 8 against the Fighting Irish of Notre Dame. Hardy is to the left and Williams is to the right. And down straight ahead goes Miles inside the 5 down to about the 4. The tacklers were led down there by Wes Pritchard. Miles, a transfer out of a junior college in Iowa called Ellsworth. And runs a 4.540. I think you can see it was at least that last time there.
Like I said earlier, Notre Dame is much more active defensively than what they were in 1986. And so they're taking more chances, and as they get down in closer territory and tighter area, they take a little bit more chances, and you open up opportunity.
Second down and goal to go. Quick pitch back to Miles. Miles cuts inside right, but Wright hangs on. It's third down and a couple of yards.
It really is a tough position for Purdue to be in right now. They've moved the ball well in the running game. They've got to take some chances. I'm sure that Freddie Akers, I think he's going to think about it, because it's a tough position to be in. You don't have a whole lot of room in terms of throwing the ball, and you're limited. They're not recognizing he wants a timeout, and they're not giving it to him. Nobody's looking for him.
Now running in is Cheney saying, we want time. We want time. Cheney came off the bench and called the time. 4:51 to go. We'll be back with more Big Ten football in a moment. And Purdue says, hey, we're tough too. Third and goal to go on third down situations. They've been successful 1 time in 4 attempts. Long count Downing. Downing back to throw. Got to get rid of this, and this time he does get rid of it. It's 4th down. Notre Dame's defense did an outstanding job in the end zone. Even Schumacher couldn't have gotten that ball. And here comes the team on the field, meaning the kicking team here, Steve. And we'll remind everybody that Jonathan Briggs missed 3 field goals last week.
Notre Dame played very heads-up football. They forced Downing to get out of his pattern, his throwing motion. When you've got that much time and you can't find the open receiver, then he threw it away, did the smart thing.
Briggs this time, it's almost like an extra point. 18-yard field goal attempt to put him up by 7. Got to remember Louisville a week ago, all those he's missed. He wants this one. Straight away, he gets it. Oh, that breaks what was going on last week. As Jonathan Briggs makes the score 17-10 Purdue. Not only has Notre Dame been scored on for the first time in the first half in this game, but 17 points for it.
Remember Schumacher this time, they're very cognizant of where he is on the field. Do they push him inside? They're keeping him inside. Let's see what happens to him. Good coverage, well covered. Notre Dame's aware of where he is. Everyone, they just pass him off to defensive player after defensive player. Good coverage by Notre Dame.
And now we're going to get another look at Tim Brown. Tim Brown thus far has not done well on his punt returns at all. And he backed up because of the sunlight on the last kickoff. So after the 2 punt returns for touchdowns against Michigan State, Brown on kickoff and punt returns has a total of 8 yards.
You can really tell that Tim Brown is struggling with the sun right now. The officials talking about the fair catch sign. Don't get them confused, Tim, of what you do from shading your eyes versus the legitimate fair catch sign.
Now remember, Brown is averaging 178.5 yards all-purpose. He's got 17 so far today. He's looking back into that sun. Looking, holding up. Oh, they bump into each other. pick the ball up, and down they go at the 21-22-yard line. Notre Dame really does not look as though its act is together, although that was a cause of the sun. Let's go to Dave Dials.
All right, Jim, Virginia Tech is upsetting 18th-ranked Syracuse 14-0 Chapman with 2 scoring passes already. Demetrius Brown got the Michigan touchdown on a 4-yard run. Michigan leads Long Beach State 7-0, and Georgia, between the hedges, leading South Carolina, second quarter, 7-6. Back to Purdue, Notre Dame.
All right, Dave, we look forward to more scores from you, plus your halftime show. Out to the right comes Tim Brown, along with Terrell, who caught a big pass play moments ago. Green flanks, and Andrusak is back in to throw and can run now, but not for much. Gets out near the 25-yard line. Call it second down and 7.
Again, when the sun is in your eyes, you're trying to concentrate on where the ball is, and this is because they're not communicating to each other. Tim Brown goes right up the back of his teammate and causes the fumble.
Amazing story, Tim Brown. 3 years of high school ball. His teams won 4 games in 3 years. Second down. Right ahead, Anthony Johnson. Check that. That is Tony Brooks. Next week, Steve and I and John Snyder will either be at Champaign, Illinois, where Ohio State comes to town, or in Iowa for Michigan State. And all of you on most of these stations who get the nighttime game at 7 Eastern time will see Purdue and Minnesota. And when Minnesota sees this first half score, whew, third down and 3 to go. Ball on the 27. Brown, the man in motion. Andrusak loops the ball out to Brown. He is out of bounds. The ball was knocked away from him anyway, knocked away by Chris Dishman. And it's fourth down.
Jim, I don't want to belabor the point, but I really believe Andrusak has got to be more fluid in finding his receivers. He's looking at Tim Brown. It's no doubt he's going to Tim Brown, and he's really throwing into a coverage in a dangerous situation that time. I really believe he's trying to force the ball too much to his outstanding receiver, Brown.
Anthony Hardy, without the sun in his eyes, is standing back at the 35. As Vince Phelan, averaging better than 44 yards a kick, will punt. Low snap. Gets the ball away, and it's a good one. Hardy back at about the 33-yard line. This kid has got speed. Look at him cut up there and get across the 40-yard line to about the 42-yard line. 3:04 to go. We're in the first half. An excited Ross-Age Stadium, 70-10, Purdue.
I see you've got homework, too.
Never ends.
Looks like it was quite a project.
Have a look.
Thanks. Impressive. I wish we could do work like this. But we have to crank them out every week.
So do we.
If we can afford to farm them out, we have to do them on our computer.
So do we.
You did that on a computer? What kind of computer?
All right, Betty, I'll make you a friendly wager. A round of beers, you won't get this.
Darker one's the Miller High Life. Waitress, 2 Millers, please. He's buying.
That's pretty good. How did you know that?
Common knowledge.
Okay, double or nothing, you don't know why.
Dark roasted malt makes Miller darker. Anybody knows that.
To be pleased with the way Purdue has come back, but before the game, we asked him what kind of game he needed to upset Notre Dame.
Well, we need for Doug Downing to have an excellent day. Well, not spectacular, but to do the job without errors. We cannot afford to give Notre Dame the chance to have the kind of turnover ratio they've had with their first 2 opponents.
Well, Downing has done all of that, and there have been 2 turnovers by Notre Dame that have resulted in 10 Purdue points. First down, Purdue from the 41. Downing on first down. Putting the ball up for Anthony Hardy, and it's overthrown. Back there in coverage was number 1, Todd Light, the freshman out of Flint, Michigan. Second down and 10. They went for the bomb, Steve, on first down. At halftime, Dave Dials will be back with all the scores. Auburn, Tennessee for 1. Close-up look at Tim Brown, who's not had a great first half. You got to say that. The Purdue All-American Marching Band with their Golden Girls, their Silver Twins, and a salute to the Constitution's 200th birthday. And Steve and I'll have highlights of this first half of a pretty good football game. 2:59 left to go in the first half. Williams left, Hardy right. Downing puts the ball up again for Hardy, and they're battling for it, and this ball is intercepted. Intercepted by Smagala. Stan Smagala back across the 25 and knocked down at the 27 by Calvin Williams. First down Notre Dame, and they get a turnover.
I really believe that Downing threw it just slightly underneath him in terms of going to Hardy. Smagala, number 29, does a great job. He's got excellent speed, and now watch his head. He knows where the ball is. Remember early in the ball game when Figueroa was playing defense, he's right on top of him, watching the ball this time, playing good pass defense, concentrating, and with his left hand, puts the ball away.
Regala, his first interception of this year. First down, Andrzak. Andrzak throws out. There's Timmy Brown, and look out. Good one-on-one coverage there. That is a good tackle. Tackle looked like the freshman Steve Jackson playing that corner came up to make the stop.
Jim, on that interception, Purdue had what they wanted. Notre Dame was in a blitz. They had man-on-man coverage. They just were not able to complete the pass and throw it long enough for the receiver to walk under it.
Jefferson right and Terrell left, and straight ahead for a couple of yards goes Anthony Johnson. Well, it'll be second down and nearly 5 to go at the 43-yard line as the clock winds down.
Lou Holtz did a great job of bringing his team into this ball game, and he said, we're not looking for a cheap victory. We'll pay a full price, 60 minutes, and he's convinced his kids of that, so it's not a matter they thought it'd be easy. They're willing to pay the full admission to this game.
Andrzak on the quick pitch back, and that is Tony Brooks, the freshman, tailback out of Tulsa, Oklahoma. Run out of bounds. And they should move the sticks, and they will. It's a first down for Brooks.
One of the exciting things for Notre Dame is the way that Lou Holtz will recruit at Notre Dame. It's a national base. It's the closest thing to heaven on earth in college football. You've got the entire country to deal with. And Tony Brooks out of Tulsa, Oklahoma, heavily recruited by Oklahoma and everyone in the Big 8. 4.5 speed makes Lou Holtz rather happy and concerning Fred Akers.
How would you know all those things about Tulsa, Oklahoma?
I don't know. That's where I
live. One company called Tony Brooks the freshman or the back of the year. Here's Andrzak. He's going to air it out and has his man back there. That is Johnson, and Johnson lost the football as he went down at the 12-yard line. First going for Notre Dame. Second big catch for Anthony Johnson out of the backfield. Had one of 60 yards back in the first quarter.
The 4-3 defense that Purdue runs, Fred Akers believes in man coverage. So here's the mismatch. Anthony Johnson is working on an outside linebacker. So there's a mismatch in speed and talent and ability to play that pass across the middle and going deep with it. Good job by Johnson.
He has been their big play man. 1:46 to go. We'll come back with more Big Ten football in a moment. For the private use of our audience, the rebroadcast or the use of this broadcast without the express from prior written consent of the Big Ten Conference is prohibited. First down, Alonzo Johnson and Andrzak have hooked up for their second big play of the day. The ball is at the 12. And Timmy Brown is not in the ball game at the moment. Terrell is wide to the right, full house backfield. Johnson carries the ball inside the 10-yard line, down to about the 9. Where it is second down. And guess who's coming in? They're sending him out. Tim Brown has caught one ball today. But on the kicking game, which Notre Dame has done so well, Brown has not done very well today. Remember, at one time, he went off the field limping. Johnson and Brooks are setbacks. And this is the freshman Brooks. Down to near the 5-yard line. It'll be 3rd down and 3 to go for the first down.
The strength of the Notre Dame offensive line, again, is Freeman, a 2-year starter at left guard. Lanza, the strongest, the 450-pound bench presser at the center position. And then Pearson, he's the only newcomer, but he's got great quickness and strength. And they really are proud of those guys. And on 2 plays in this drive, right here in this particular series, they've gone right behind their strength of that offensive line.
3rd and 3. The ball is at the 6. 1:03 to go, and time has been called by Notre Dame. So while they take time out to discuss things, let's go. Now for Notre Dame to gain at least a tie at halftime. 3rd down, 3 for the first down. Nearly 6 to go for the touchdown. Could really send the Irish to the dressing room feeling a lot better should they score here. And conversely, if they don't, Purdue will feel awfully good. Coming out at the moment in a full house backfield, one of which is Tim Brown. Green, straight ahead, close to the first down. It's decision time. I don't think he made the first down. We shall wait and let the officials determine that. But it's 4th down and inches, or 1st and goal to go with 54 seconds on the clock. Red Strickland in on the tackle, along with Mark Foster. They're 2 top tacklers on the Purdue defense. They'll measure, and this is an awfully big measure. And if it's that close still, Steve, 4th down.
Oh, I think they'll
go for the 3 or go for it?
No, I think they'll go for it.
That far to go. Go for it?
Sure. Yeah, you'll go for it.
They're going to go for it. No thought.
On 3 plays, they get just within inches of being able to get it 1st and 10. They've gone behind their strength. What will be interesting is if he changes the character of this particular series and go outside. He's gone inside the guards. Now what happens?
The stadium is on its feet at Ross A. Well, did he make it? It looked like it. Anthony Johnson was the ball carrier. And now Lou Holt says, we got it, folks. Let's call a timeout.
You saw a very heady quarterback, Terry Andrzak. He looked at the official. The crowd was noisy. He looked at him. He maybe get an extra chance of quieting the crowd. The official said, go ahead with the play, and he did it. And Johnson does a great job of making second effort. See, watch him. He looks at the official. That's his right. He says, no, go ahead. The official nods ahead. And now watch the effort. First hit right there. He stopped right there. And then the second effort, the churning, the legs, power, the strength program kicks into gear, and he makes the 1st and 10.
Now the nose of the ball is just, what is that, about a foot away. Notre Dame's got one more timeout and an awfully good offensive line and a set of good running backs. 38 seconds to go. You would think, barring yet another turnover, that Notre Dame would score. But you would not think the score at this moment would be 17-10 Purdue. So just hang on. And here come the Irish back on the field.
Well, both teams will go into halftime with positives, a lot of positives, no negatives, a lot of positives, regardless of what happens on this particular play.
Now Kelson comes out and DeBose comes out.
Does he go 5 straight plays in between the guards? That's the question. He's had the strength there. They've done a great job.
Jefferson, Johnson, and Green are the men. And did Notre Dame move? If they did, it's 5 yards. Offside, nope, offside Purdue. That won't move it much, will it? No place to go. 38 seconds left in the half. The Purdue defense, they played well today. The big thorn in their defense has not been Tim Brown, but rather Anthony Johnson with 2 long catches and 1 big first down. And there it is. Touchdown Notre Dame. Anthony Johnson, who set this whole thing up with a long reception, a needed first down on 4th and inches, gets the touchdown. his second of the game, his third of the year.
5 straight running plays inside using the strength of those interior linemen right off the guard. Anthony Johnson, a former soccer player, great quick feet and strength, puts it in the end zone.
And now Groudle, with Andrzejczyk to hold, will tie it up, try to. And the kick is good. With 36 seconds to go, we have a tie game at Ross-Ade Stadium. It was 3-0 Notre Dame, 10-0 Notre Dame, then 10-7, then 14-10 Purdue, then 17-10 Purdue, and now it is 17-all on the touchdown by Johnson.
Lou Holtz really felt like coming into the game that they could be very physical with Purdue. They expected a physical matchup. Watch, great job by the left tackle to be able to squeeze it all off. I can't see right there who it is in this particular play. What's that? Number 76 right there. Raider, 76. He blocks off everybody on the inside and puts them in the end zone.
9 plays, 72 yards. It's a tie game. Back in a moment. In northern Indiana, they've, in the 48 years they've been keeping such records in this conference, Anthony Johnson is the only man to be named all-conference at fullback, at linebacker, and as a place kicker, all in the same year. 3 positions, all-conference. Well, he's been all Notre Dame today in the 17-all ball game. Groudle will kick it off. Only seconds remain in the first half, so they're looking for the fumble and not the big return. That's a free ball there, and that is not much of a big return there by the Boilermakers. Keith Norman, outside linebacker. Dave Dials, we just heard that Auburn is out in front of Tennessee 6-0. He'll be back. We'll take a look at Tim Brown, who's setting the world on fire until today. Had 1 big catch today. As we said, the All-American Marching Band with a bicentennial salute. And Steve and I'll have highlights of the first half. And there have been a lot of them. Doug Downing of Lafayette.
I really believe Purdue, in this situation, I think Fred Akers doesn't want to turn the emotion any other way than what it is. Don't make the big mistake. I would play it safe.
Medlock and Miles, the setbacks. See if he gives it to Medlock. He does. Down he goes at the 28-yard line. And the clock continues to run with 23 seconds left.
I promise you, if you would have told Fred Akers before the ball game you're going to be 17-17 at halftime, he would take it right now and say, that's where I want to be. That gives me a chance. That gives me the confidence and all the positives that I didn't have going into the game. And that's why he's being conservative right now.
Remember also that at 17-10, Purdue was driving for a touchdown.
But he's certainly getting the headlines at Notre Dame, and although he's not playing too well in the first half against Purdue, I think you'll like him and understand that he's an awfully good player. When people talk about Woodrow Wilson High School in Dallas, Texas, they don't talk about a rich athletic tradition. This team is no Moeller nor a Massillon. Timothy Donnell Brown played football there for 3 years, and in that time, his team won only 4 games. He also played basketball and ran track, won 3 letters in basketball, and captained both the basketball and track teams, vice president of the senior class. On the football team, Tim Brown wore number 6. One of his coaches, Ronald Elliott, says one football game sticks out above all the rest.
Mine, probably the Samuel game that we played the beginning of his last year here. As of course, we weren't picked to beat them because they were champions the year before. And we came out, and surprisingly enough, I mean, we were right there in the ball game, you know, with Tim. Tim, 85-yard kickoff return, 73-yard run from the line of scrimmage, 28 sweep, 73 yards for a touchdown. So, I mean, we were right there in the ball game, you know. And I think me as a coach being on the sideline, that it kind of fired me up and said, hey, guys, here, we can do something here. You know, we can finally win a ball game right here.
Tim was sports editor of the school paper, but teacher Shelley Driscoll said there was a problem.
Tim wrote all of our sports stories, and I would say to him, Tim, we need a story on football or a story on basketball, and he'd always say, oh, miss, I can't write about myself. I can't talk about myself in the paper, because he was pretty much the whole team on both sports.
Most of the top schools wanted Tim Brown, but he chose Notre Dame mainly on the advice of his older brother, Donald.
I always thought that he was excellent at what he did where he was. And I only started realizing probably last year that he was a truly gifted person. For the first time, I think I realized that he was probably as good as some of the guys in the NFL right now. And before, I couldn't say that. I always said he was good at his level.
You know, when Coach Schultz came in, he gave me a few ideas of what he wanted me to do, but I never had any idea I would be doing as many things that I'm doing. But, you know, like you said, 1 year has really made a difference in my career and in the things that I'm doing. When you look at a school like Notre Dame with the education and athletics that it has, there's no better place to go if you're a serious student and a serious athlete.
He came out of this modest home in Dallas and could win the game's top honors, yet his mother, Josephine, has never seen him play in person.
I don't want to see him get hurt, you know, and I just feel like with all of them falling on him, and, you know, it's just such a contact sport. And then another reason I don't know anything about football. And then another reason is my religious beliefs.
Oh, yeah, you know, it doesn't bother me because I know she's watching and she's praying for me. So, you know, as long as I know she's thinking about me out there, everything is fine.
She even goes to South Bend, but still does not see him on what MacArthur called the fields of friendly strife.
I stay out in the motorhome and prepare dinner because I know he's coming over to eat.
Not since 1949, when another Notre Damer, Leon Hart, won the coveted award, has anyone other than a back won the Heisman. But in the early voting, Tim Brown has a leg up. And what do the home folks think about all that?
I've been hearing so much about it lately, and I know that it is an important award. And like I say, I don't know anything about football, but I know that this is the highest award that you can achieve in football.
Unbelievable. You know, just to be mentioned in the same breath is, you know, I never expected that.
And we're all behind him. You know, we want to see him. If he can get the Heisman, hey, we'd love to see him get it.
Well, I think, you know, winning the Heisman Trophy, for me, would be like the icing on the cake, you know. Ever since I've been playing sports, I've never had a winning season in anything I've done. So, you know, to be named the top football player in the country would be like a dream come true for me.
Tied at 17 all. Doug Downing, Steve Davis had an outstanding first half.
He really did. He'll have to keep the tempo of the second half because they lost a little bit with the drive that Notre Dame had, but there were so many positives. Both coaches coming into the second half could build on the positives and really did very well. On the other side, I think Notre Dame, they struggled a little bit more. Andrzejczak did not have the kind of half that he needs to have. If I'm Purdue, I want to put the pressure on Terry Andrzejczak, the quarterback. I really want to put it on him. Tim Brown has not had the great game, and that's what Purdue really wanted to create, an opportunity of doubt where Brown could take him out of the ball game and put the pressure on someone else, preferably the quarterback.
There's Tim Brown, and remember, Purdue has been kicking off from the left hash mark.
I think what's real important in terms of the statistics, you see the yards, the total yards, the turnovers, but I think even more importantly is what they've been able to do in terms of their punting average and the fact that Notre Dame has only had 15 yards in return in the kicking game, and so that's a very big part of the game that's been taken away from them by Purdue.
Briggs kicks off away from Tim Brown, and Smagali has the football. And Smagali is wrestled down, and that's outstanding offensive position for the Fighting Irish. They're out near the 40-yard line. Defensively, Tony Visco, their veteran lineman at left end. Chris Keevers. Bill Hitchcock making a start today at the right tackle spot. And Scott Conover is your right end. Your linebackers, Gerald Williams, big first half. Leading tackler Fred Strickland and Art DuBose. Brown in motion on first down. Johnson carrying the football, picking up where he left off, the sophomore out of South Bend, Indiana. The hometown man makes good. Now for Purdue in that secondary, they've been burned a couple of times by Johnson. One cornerback is Chris Dishman. They didn't think he'd have him back this year, but he's back. At the honors, the freshman, Steve Jackson on the right side out of Houston, Texas. Derek Kelson getting a start today at safety. He's a sophomore. and Mark Foster, their senior safety, at all everything. Second down, about 4 to go. Mark Green almost has the necessary 4 and may have it. For Notre Dame, it is Andrzak, Green, and Johnson, flankers, and they change a lot. Tim Brown and Pat Terrell. Andy Heck is the tight end. He's been overthrown a couple times. Rader, Freeman, Lonza, Pearson, and Spruell, your offensive line.
I really feel like Lou Holtz coming into the second half will be more physical, make the game, commit to the running game like he did in the latter part of the first half. Make it a physical football game of Purdue.
Third down, inches to go. Johnson carries for the first down and moves into Purdue territory. 17 all as we begin the second half. Tim Brown coming back. Brown, as we pointed out, did not have a great first half. But then again, as Fred Akers pointed out, he's like electricity, lightning. He gets any kind of space at all on a kickoff return, punt return, or after pass reception.
Hi, Mom.
First down midfield. Andrzak back for his first pass of this half. Going long for Green. Green is there and does not get the ball. He had beaten his man on that side. Getting up is Gerald Williams, but Green had him beaten, but couldn't hang on to the football.
Mark Green has gotten bigger. He's stronger. He's got excellent vision, good hands. Gerald Williams is only 4'7". Again, the mismatch, the linebacker against the back. Because of the man coverage of Purdue, he puts his hands on him a little bit. Officials right on top of it, but I think he was kind of fleecing him a little bit.
Mark Green came into the Notre Dame program as a flanker, but now he is a running back, but he splits out a lot. Second down, 10. And that is Anthony Johnson again. And Johnson picks up 3 or 4 yards, and now it is third down and about 7.
Notre Dame being physical here in the second half, you can create a lot of positives. You control the ball, you control the clock, and I think they put the pressure, take it off the quarterback, and put it on that offensive line. Let's go play smash mouth and go move the ball against this defense and make them earn it. And you're also conservative. You don't turn it over.
Reggie Ward comes out wide to the right, along with Tim Brown. It's third down and 7 from the 46 of Purdue. Andrzak gets away and does not get the first down, lost the football, and let's see what happens as Purdue gets it. Third turnover for Notre Dame today. They had 1 in the previous 2 games.
If Purdue can continue to put the pressure where Terry Andrzak has to perform, he has not had to in the first 2 ball games. He does a fantastic job getting away from the pressure. Now protect the ball. He did his job. The good effort in there by the defensive man to knock the ball away.
It looked like Strickland, but Gerald Williams was in the area also. First down from the 44-yard line for Purdue, 17 all. Third quarter. Makes a nice little stutter step at the line of scrimmage and picks up 4.5 yards. Second down. Tom Gorman, 1 tackle out of Evergreen Park, Illinois, for Notre Dame. Mike Griffin, the nose tackle out of Cleveland Heights, Ohio. Brian Flannery, the sophomore. And Cedric Figueroa is a linebacker on one outside. Wes Pritchard is in the middle out of Atlanta, Georgia. Ed Bolcar also in the middle. Other outside lineman is Flash Gordon. Second down. 6 to go. Downing. Boy, there's a good play there, and the flag goes down. Good play there. Looked like Brian Flannery did the job, number 92 at the line of scrimmage. The flag is down, and they're pointing toward Notre Dame. Offside Notre Dame. Secondary for Notre Dame, Marv Spence at one corner. Stan Smagala, who has intercepted a pass today out of Burbank, Illinois. George Streeter at one safety, and Corny Sothall the other.
You know, we look at that little mistake right there. Wes Pritchett, number 34, jumped across. He was in the neutral zone. It was 2nd and 6. Now it's 2nd and 2. That's not a physical mistake. It's a mental mistake, and those things can be very important in the second half in terms of determining the game.
Ball on the 47-yard line of Notre Dame. 6th ranked in the country, unbeaten with wins over Michigan and Michigan State. Purdue has not won a game. Quick pitch back. Here's Medlock. Medlock gets between some men and has the first down. Easily inside the 40-yard line. James Medlock, the senior, out of Georgia. Offensively for Purdue, Downing having a great day. Cheney and Medlock, the running backs. Williams, who's caught a touchdown pass. Hardy, who's been outstanding, the wide receiver. Schumacher, who's caught a touchdown pass, the tight end. The offensive line, Richmond, Brown, Kreitz, Rose, and Connors. And that is a veteran offensive line with the exception, well, with no exceptions, really, because Kreitz, who's a junior, is a redshirt junior. Cheney wide to the right. First down from the 39. Medlock looking for running room and is dragged down by Cedric Figueroa, number 48.
We just saw Phil Bennett, the defensive coordinator of Purdue, on the sidelines. One of the problems with Medlock, number 34, the coaches are very concerned about him. In his first 2 ball games, he did have one game where he had 126 yards on 25 carries, but great backs break tackles. He's not been consistent at ramming it up in there and making something happen, and they're a little bit discouraged with him. They want their running backs to make a pop, to make something happen. He hasn't done it, and yet he's made a couple of good plays today.
10.5 minutes ago, third quarter, 17 all. Purdue driving from the Notre Dame 36. Downing, quick pitch out. And there's over there Darrell Cheney, and Cheney gets across the 35, and it'll be 3rd down and 3 or 4 yards, depending on where they spot the ball. From inside the 35.
Purdue is doing a good job of protecting Doug Downing in controlled passing games. They're not putting a lot of pressure on him where he has to make the big play. Just the converse of what's happening in Notre Dame, where Purdue defense is forcing Andrzejczak to do something.
Purdue, 1 out of 5 on 3rd down situations. It's 3rd down and 4. Downing at the time and has the man, but he drops the ball. Schumacher, who caught a touchdown, could not hold on to the ball there. And that was Figueroa right with him.
Schumacher is one of those guys that the coaches have said has been kind of a hot and cold player. He made the outstanding play in the first half. He should have had the ball. There's no doubt about it. That's the hot and cold of Schumacher coming into this ball game. He's got to concentrate on all things. The sun was not a factor. I could really tell that he was looking. He just got away from the ball, wasn't concentrating, and didn't put it away.
Jonathan Briggs, who has hit a field goal here but missed 3 last week, will try a 50-yarder. Trying to break the tie. Let's see what kind of leg Briggs has. The spot, he's got plenty of leg. Is it good? Yes! 50 yards and Purdue takes the lead. We'll come right back with more Big Ten football in a moment. We're an excited West Lafayette, Indiana. 20-17, Purdue leads.
Award is to go to the best football player in the country. Tim Brown would be trying for his second one because he would have won it last year. I thought he was the best football player in the country last year. If he wins it, hey, that's great. But we look on that, if he does, that's a team award. The main thing we're concerned about at the present time, and the only thing we're concerned about, is being 3-0. And I think our players realize this isn't going to be easy.
If Tim Brown does win, he will be the 7th Heisman Trophy winner at Notre Dame. Purdue has none. A couple of folks finished second, Mike Phipps and Leroy Keys. Notre Dame, that's his longest field goal of his career. What a turnaround for Jonathan Briggs. It's a record for this stadium, as a matter of fact. Now Tim Brown gets a chance to return from the 1. Oh, down he goes inside the 20-yard line. Big tackle there. 1st and 10 Notre Dame, but let's go to Dave Dials as the flag goes down.
Well, those long field goals are pretty commonplace today, Jim Simpson. Wisconsin has one, a 54-yarder from Todd Gregory, and that breaks the Big Ten record set by Chris White. 3-0 Wisconsin over Ball State. Back to you.
All right, unsportsmanlike conduct charged against Notre Dame. That's going to take them back from the 18-yard line. So here, Steve, is a team, Purdue, that was penalized 15 times, turned the ball over, made every mistake in the book before tying Louisville and while losing to Washington. Here's Notre Dame that made very few mistakes. They've had 3 turnovers, and here's a costly penalty again.
I think the point is that Notre Dame has not been in this position. It's a new experience for them. They controlled Michigan. Michigan helped them out with turnovers. They controlled Michigan State. The offense hasn't been under pressure. So all the positives they've had in the past, now they're having to learn certain things under duress and have to perform and in the pressure situation. It's a different world when you're down.
Tim Brown, 2 kickoff returns for 13.5-yard average. And remember what we said, he's been averaging nearly 180 yards in all-purpose yardage. No game this year. Andrzejczyk flips it out, intended for Green. He's got blockers in front of him. This could be a big one, and Green has the first down across the 30-yard line. It was first down and 20, and now it's first down from the 30. Tom Rader led the way, the senior out of Santa Maria, California. Tom Rader is one of the many who's in graduate school along that forward wall.
You've got to admire the Notre Dame coaches in terms of the play calling. Andrzejczyk holds it up a little bit, but there he is. He's able to do a great job. Mark Green, good vision, move it down the field.
Green breaks 1 tackle, breaks another tackle, and picks up 8 yards. Out to the 38-yard line, and Notre Dame has its dander up. They've moved the ball on 2 plays from inside their own 10-yard line out to the 38-yard line. North Carolina leading Navy. Navy's having a tough year. 14-0 Holy Cross. Lockbaum doing well. Dave Downs will keep you up to date on that. Clemson over Georgia Tech. Clemson's got a good ball club. Some think they can win the national championship. Time is called for the moment on the field. In this 20-17 ball game, Purdue leading 9:04 to go third quarter. And we got to tell the guy in that Purdue All-American marching band, don't turn that drum sideways, because when he does, it sounds like you have a huge mirror, light reflecting onto the field and into the eyes of the players and Steve Davis and yours truly.
Well, you get a feeling what Tim Brown's having to endure.
Oh, boy. Ray Dumas, the wide receiver, wide to the right. Straight ahead is that man again, Anthony Johnson. Let's go to John Snyder.
The Purdue locker room at halftime obviously was very upbeat because they played so well in the first half. They said that offensively, very few adjustments because they played well. Continue to do that. Defensively, mostly the same, but the linebackers have got to watch those backs coming out of the backfield. Steve Davis talked about Purdue playing man-to-man coverage in the secondary. Those backs are the responsibility of the linebackers.
And Anthony Johnson, as you know, John, 2 catches for 90 yards. First and 10. Notre Dame at their own 42. Whoops. They get back. Johnson with the football. And they're finding something behind Rader and Freeman on the left side of that Notre Dame line.
We've not had a chance to talk a lot about Fred Strickland. Fred Akers, when he brought his 4-3 defense, it was really a blessing that Fred Strickland was here. He's a perfect middle linebacker, good range, size. Watch him. He's working on the center, lands a 51, is able to keep his feet. See his feet? They're clear away from Lanza, so he's got his mobility, and Lanza's not able to make the block on him because Strickland does a great job of keeping his feet clear so he can make the tackle.
Johnson and Green between them have 110 yards. That's the first down for Notre Dame. Johnson has 56 yards, Green 54 yards. And all of that, of course, is before that short run by Green for the first down. Ball is at the 46-yard line of Purdue.
Fred Strickland really is better in the running game. He's still getting adaptive to what's going on in the passing game. But see, people just bounce off of him. He's using his hands. He keeps them away from his body. He doesn't get entangled with them, so he keeps his feet clear, and he can go and make the tackle.
The up man carries the ball, and that's the first time that Cornell Taylor has carried the ball today. And he only gets a couple of yards. 7.5 minutes to go, third quarter. Purdue by 3.
You can see the trend that Notre Dame is trying to establish. They're being more physical. They're staying inside with a more conservative running attack. They think that Purdue's got to press them into something else. So until they stop us in the running game, we'll just be real conservative and rather boring, but we're not afraid of it. We're not afraid of a physical matchup with Purdue.
Tim Brown remains on the sidelines. He is not. and has not been in this drive. Second down, 8 to go. Andrzejczyk, the pitch, and there's that freshman Brooks, taken down by Mark Foster. But Tony Brooks, the freshman out of Steve's hometown of Tulsa, carries the ball to the 28.
The key on the play was Derek Kelson, number 2. He's playing strong safety today. He's been a cornerback. You'll watch him at the top of the screen. There he is, number 2. He gets outside. He's got the responsibility on the pitch. Well, he's not used to it. He hasn't been there a lot of times, so he's totally out of the play, no support. He played well at corner, but he's in a new position. Notre Dame exploited him.
First down. And he gets another chance, and this time Brooks, who averaged 12 yards a carry as a junior and as a senior in high school, only gets a couple. Second down and long. They're at the 27-yard line in this 20-17 ball game. Purdue underdogs by as much as 24 points, lead by 3, and we're in the latter half of the third quarter. Alonzo Jefferson is checked in as a wide receiver. Terrell is in as a wide receiver. Tim Brown remains out. We don't know whether he's limping or he's just not in Lou Holtz's plans for this drive. Andrzejczyk, pitch back to Brooks. Look out, this hits and goes. Gets inside the 20, close to the first down. It'll be third down and short.
Purdue is getting killed on the option play because they're asking their safeties to make the play on the pitch play. He's got to come a long way. Mark Foster that time, the free safety, could not get there. So that's why we have that soft corner I spoke about earlier. They just can't get there. And so Notre Dame's not going to change. They're going to run the option play until somebody comes out there and plays support. When they do, watch the pass.
2 tight ends. Frank Jacobs checks in for Notre Dame, along with Andy Heck, on third down and about a foot. And Vernell Taylor gets the first down, moving down to about the 16-yard line. We will keep apprised for you of what about Tim Brown, because he has not been in on this drive, and it may be, we said in the first half he went off limping, that Notre Dame has moved all this way. Brown is standing on the far sideline. Does not look as though he is seriously hurt, but the Heisman Trophy hopeful of Notre Dame is not in the game. Nor has he been a factor in the game. 1 catch. 20-17 Purdue, 5:15 to go. Third quarter, 1st and 10 Notre Dame at the 16. Andrzejczyk, there's the pitch again. Johnson this time. Johnson is dragged down by McManus. I said Johnson, correct that to Jefferson. And a Purdue man is down hurt.
I spoke about just a few minutes ago the situation. Do they like this guy? Mark Foster, 31. This time he gets on his horse a little quick. Watch him, boys. He's going a little quicker this time. He's going to get out there and make the play. Break down, know where the man is, control him, keep him inside. There you go. Good play by Foster to control the play. A stronger side effort by the free safety Foster.
Art DeBose comes out shaken up a little bit. Keith Norman goes in. Second down and short. They're inside the 10. Johnson, third touchdown of the day. Anthony Johnson puts Notre Dame ahead.
Again, it's the offensive line of Notre Dame. They are controlling. I promise you the tight end did a great job, Frank Jacobs, of closing it down, and then Johnson's able to spurt through, kick up the heels, and have fun making a touchdown.
And now Grottle, with Andrzejczyk to hold, will try the extra point. 4:45 to go. That was quite a drive. After that penalty took them way back.
Down for Notre Dame, but he's okay. He's not hurt. He'll be back in the game momentarily.
91 yards they went, John, for that score. Had looked outstanding in doing it, and Anthony Johnson capped it off with his third touchdown of the day. Well, down, we would like to say hello on behalf of the Purdue Athletic Department to Dr. Bill Combs, their head physician for 30 years. He's in the hospital. They expect him back for the next game here. They send him his best, and I guess he's in the hospital now rooting on the Boilermakers. Grottle kicks off. And this is Jared Scales watching. Better pick that football up. Boy, almost a big mistake for the freshman Scales. And it's first down inside the 15.
Alonzo Jefferson, recruited as a defensive back, does a great job on the block. Watch him of being able to put, there he is, puts him right on the mouth and is able to get Johnson in the end zone. The other great blocks were by Jacobs, number 85, and Rader, number 76, walling it off on the inside. So it was Jefferson on the outside and Rader and Jacobs on the inside.
Notre Dame's drive, as we said, 91 yards. Purdue finds itself 87 yards away from the Notre Dame end zone. First down. See how conservatively Purdue plays down here. Medlock carries the ball and gets some running room for them. Goes across the 15 to about the 17-yard line. Second down and 5. Again, check in with Dave Dials.
The Hawkeyes of Iowa out early against Kansas State by a score of 14-7 in one of the Big Ten games. And we just got a score from Michigan. Michigan has scored again on Allen Jefferson's run and leads Long Beach State 28-0. Back to our game.
In our game, we have second down and make it 6. Ball is on the 17-yard line. 24-20, Notre Dame. Downing, willing to put the ball up, has a man, and the ball may be caught, but not. Bounced off the hands of one man and was almost pulled down by Todd Light. Streeter got his hands on it. Light watched it go by.
That particular play shows the immaturity and the lack of experience of Downing. He was going into a pressure cooker. You don't want to turn the ball over down here, and if the guy's not open, don't take chances. And he threw it into coverage that time, and he was lucky.
Under that towel is Anthony Johnson, the sophomore out of South Bend. 3 touchdowns today, 2 catches for 90 yards today. Other than that, third down, 6 to go. Downing must throw here. Puts the ball up. Hardy's out there, maybe picked off, and no, again, great coverage by Streeter. Actually double coverage because Southall was there also. Fourth down, trailing by 4. Purdue will have to kick up the football.
Purdue's offensive line's doing a very good job. Right at the end, they lose a man inside. That's Figueroa comes in and puts the pressure on him. Going into coverage again. Should have thrown it away. Don't press too much, Doug Downing. Don't try to make something happen. Let it happen.
Is Tim Brown hurt? Answer no, as John Snyder told you. Standing on his own 35-yard line, as Sean McCarthy will try to get away a good boot. What little breeze there is perhaps behind him, but it's insignificant. Chance for Brown on the receiving end at the 45. Look out, look at those moves he makes. That's the kind of moves that brought him 2 punt returns for touchdowns against Michigan State last week. The ball is on.
Watch him when he gets encountering a man. He spreads his legs. That way he can go either way. That's what gives him the ability. The great return men, Johnny Rogers had it, O.J. Simpson had it. They spread their legs out, keep their balance so they can go either way, and shows the versatility. You put the defensive man in a terrible position.
First down, Notre Dame, inside the 45. And there's Green. Green runs into Strickland again. And Fred Strickland just nailed him as he got to the line of scrimmage.
Fred Akers is living right to come up here and have a Fred Strickland who can make the watch his legs. He's got good speed. He's going lateral down the sidelines, and then it's time to shut it down and find the ball carrier. And he just zeroes in. I mean, he'll put a sting on you.
Second down and 9 from the 40 of Purdue. Purdue trailing by 4. Notre Dame trying to win its 3rd in a row. They've had troubles thus far. Not much there for Alonzo Jefferson. It'll be 3rd down and long.
When Lou Holtz is in a situation where he thinks that he has the edge, either in talent or emotion or whatever, he will be conservative. I think he's pressing Purdue right now and saying, Purdue, you just stop us. We'll be more physical. We're going to assault you. We'll stay in between the tackles, and we're not afraid. Now, they may throw this down, but the style is set for the second half.
Tim Brown is back in and split wide to the right. 3rd and 5. Andrzak gets the ball out and down, tripping over. Great play by Steve Jackson, the freshman. He took out the blocker as well as the runner. And it's 4th down.
Steve Jackson is a true freshman. Last year at this time, he's playing high school football, I promise you. He makes an excellent play. Watch him. He'll go down and still make the tackle. Boy, I tell you, this is a different world. Can you imagine playing high school football in Texas one year, and then all of a sudden you're playing Notre Dame, the number 8 ranked team, the next year?
Remember what they used to say down in Texas? Man was about to go for a Super Bowl, said this is a big game. He said, no, my Texas high school football championship, bigger game than this. This is Mark Foster, Jr. out of Philadelphia, Pennsylvania, second leading tackler, 2 interceptions. Is called on to punt. Anthony Hardy is deep at the 10. Phelan, of course, would like to angle it out of bounds, but let's see how he handles this kick. 9th in the country in average, but he's not looking for average here. He's looking for position. Oh, it gets a low snap, boots the ball, and this may do the job for him as it goes out on the 11-yard line. That's helpful for Notre Dame. Here's Dave Dial.
All right, Missouri has come back after trailing and leads Indiana by a score of 10-7. Michigan State has gotten a field goal and now trails Florida State at East Lansing 7-3. Auburn has scored another touchdown and leads Tennessee 20-10.
In that battle of the unbeatens in the Southeastern Conference, where they were all excited about Alabama after they beat Penn State, only to come a cropper as they did last week. Alabama, talk about your tough schedules that Notre Dame has. They say it's the toughest in the country. They get Pittsburgh in 2 weeks. They're off next week. They've got Alabama, Penn State, Miami, Southern Cal, Boston College, which lost for the first time in many games last week. Purdue's down by 4 at their own 11, 1st and 10. Downing showing the willingness to put the ball up. Now he's going to carry the ball and gets the ball away, intended for Schumacher at the 17-yard line, incomplete. On the sidelines, here's John Snyder.
The gentleman with me has been a member of the chain gang here at Purdue for many years. His name is Bob Downing. Yes, his son Doug has played very well at quarterback. How do you feel standing here watching him play?
Well, you live and die with each toss, you know, and you just hope that things turn out for the best for Purdue University.
Bob's a very successful high school coach at Lafayette, a few miles from here. His son played at that high school. Did he grow up wanting to quarterback this team right here?
Yes, Doug wanted to come here and play football, and I was happy he did because it's close to home and everything. It's worked out very well for us.
What goes through your mind now?
Well, you know, you got to get the job done when the pressure's on, and the pressure's definitely on. Notre Dame, those big guys are pounding us pretty good, and we've got to make something happen actually on this series, I think.
All right, Bob Downing, who's the father of Doug Downing, who's right in the middle of the play out there right now.
And it'll just go to Schumacher. Well, it'll be 3rd down and short to go as he takes the ball out to the 19-yard line. 3rd and 2 for the first down.
Again, Doug Downing really in a pressure situation, 2nd down and long. He's giving his team a chance. He's making a, good play by the defense to be able to step in front, but he's lucky Schumacher's able to put it away. And you can tell that Southall, number 31, took a chance. He wasn't there quite fast enough.
Indian Summers afternoon in West Lafayette, Indiana. And Notre Dame, 24-point favorite, has all it can handle, but the momentum seems to be going the way of the Irish at the moment. 3rd and 2. Downing looking to throw, gets the ball away, and nobody will get it. It's 4th down. They'll have to kick the ball away to Notre Dame. Lash Gordon was a defensive man that caused Downing to hurry that throw. Next week, we're either going to get a plane ticket to Champaign or to Iowa City. Ohio State at Illinois, Michigan State at Iowa. 12 o'clock Eastern time, our usual start. And we've got another night game on most of these stations of the Big Ten Network next week. 7 o'clock Eastern. Purdue in your pictures all afternoon today at Minnesota. Tim Brown almost broke one last time. Sean McCarthy to kick it to him. Rush is not on. Short but very high kick. At the 39 is Brown. And he is dragged down in a rather convincing tackle by Greg Miller. But still, it is in Purdue territory. 12-yard return by Tim Brown. 24-20 Notre Dame. And we've got 37 seconds to go. Air Force leading Colorado State first quarter 6-0. Georgia over South Carolina third quarter 10-6. Bowling Green trailing Western Michigan at the half by 7. About a half an hour from now, Ohio State, another Big Ten, will be down to play at LSU. You know about Missouri and Indiana, and Kansas State and Iowa, and Long Beach State and Michigan, Florida State, Michigan State, and Central Michigan, Minnesota. We've been telling you those. But later today, Ohio State. Andrzejczyk. Back foot slips as he goes downfield for Johnson, and this time Anthony Johnson has caught 2 for 90 yards and scored all 3 touchdowns. Lost that one, running into the sun, but looking back out of the sun.
This is one of the most difficult catches to make because you're having to catch it right over your head, leaning way back. Watch him. He's just stretched out. It's got to take perfect timing and concentration, and he's got very good hands. He just was not able to put it away. That's a very difficult catch for Anthony Johnson to make.
He had not caught a football in a game all year long until today. Tim Brown in motion. Andrzejczyk looks for Tim Brown. He's got everybody beat, and there's a touchdown. Brown. 48 yards. And Brown comes up with a big play. They waited almost 3 quarters, but there it is.
Lou Holtz is a master play caller. What happens? You've got Tim Brown, the all-everything, going against Steve Jackson, the freshman. They roll the pocket. He's isolated Jackson on him. They've got the perfect matchup they want. Make the freshman play superhero. He's not able to do it. And Brown uses his speed, gets behind him for the touchdown.
Rattled in the kick. And the kick is good. It is 31-20. And remember, the play before that, the only other play in the drive, Johnson dropped what looked to be a touchdown pass. They came back to Brown on the other side of the field, and that was successful. Notre Dame looked terrific. And had to change that. It's 31-20, of course. But as Doug Downing's dad said, Purdue's got to get something going, and quickly.
Again, you've got Tim Brown, who is very confident, knows what he's doing, the speed. And Andrzejczyk throws a perfect pass. He really had a lot of flexibility. This is a confident throw, and there the freshman is 6-7 yards behind him. Just the mismatch in speed and the ability of Brown to make the moves to get away from him. He comes right to his face and then makes the break, and he was wide open.
Steve Jackson saying they didn't have anybody with that speed down there in Houston, Texas, when I played high school ball just a year ago. Rattle to kick it off, and now Doug Downing and company have their work cut out. But remember, at one time, it was 10-0. They led 17-10, and then 20-17. So they have been able to come back. Now here's Anthony Hardy from the 5. Oh, wow, at the 20-yard line, Hardy goes down. Andre Jones, an outside linebacker, absolutely leveled him. And Hardy gets up. And they're about 80 yards from a score.
You know what he's checking for? He's making sure he's got 10 fingers and 10 toes. I promise you.
18 seconds left in this third quarter. A quarter dominated by Notre Dame.
That's about how he feels, that camera shot right there.
14-3, Notre Dame has outscored Purdue in the third quarter. First quarter has been Notre Dame's big quarter until today. Downing under pressure. Lost the football. Notre Dame says they've got it. And they may just say that's an incompleted pass. Let us see what happens. He's got it. Notre Dame and the Goodyear Blimp America is up in the sky from Houston, Texas. The pilot is Mark Bennett. Cameraman is Richard Morkel, giving us all those good shots. Second down and 10 from the 10, Purdue. Drop the football, and Notre Dame this time, I believe, gets it. There's the big turnover. And this could spell defeat for Purdue should they drop by another 7 points. It looks like Mike Griffin, the big nose tackle, the senior out of Cleveland Heights, Ohio, dropped on Doug Downing's fumble.
This was one of the problems Doug had in his first 2 ball games. He's fumbled 5 snaps. It's been a frustration for him. Notre Dame's put so much pressure on them that they're just waiting for this type of mistake deep in their territory. And they're 94. Mike Griffin, been plagued with injuries. The nose guard makes the play and finds the football.
Al Brown is in wide to the left, and Steve Jackson, who was burned last time, is the man out there, not getting any help from him. Let's see what Notre Dame does. They're going to run the football. Johnson, who's made 3 touchdowns thus far, gets down to about the 8-yard line. So Notre Dame down at 1 point, 24-20, scored on a 49-yard, or up 24-20, 49-yard touchdown bomb to Tim Brown to make it 31-20. Now find themselves with 2nd down from the 8-yard line. And a chance to go up big over a valiant but young Purdue team. Notre Dame's not that old, come to think of it. Andrzak on the pitch. He pitches past Brooks. Brooks falls on it, does the smart thing, holds on to the football, takes them back across the 15 to the 17-yard line. Big break for Purdue there.
I promise you, this is the option quarterback's nightmare. The option, first he's got his back to the man, and there he kisses him right in the mouth with his headgear, and Tony Brooks does the smart thing that freshmen generally don't do. He falls on the football, takes the loss.
That was a Tony play. Tony Visco is the man that leveled Andrzak, and Tony Brooks fell on the ball. From the 17, let's make it 3rd down and 17 to go. And there goes Mark Green, and it's 4th down and goal to go from the 12, and I would assume that will bring on Grottle. And here he comes.
Tim Brown's an All-American. He's the most noted player on the field. Everybody knows where he is, but it's not always pleasant if you're Tim Brown because you're noted. Everybody knows where you are. He's getting all he wants right now of the freshman. Remember, Jackson was the one that got beat on the touchdown, and he gets it back a little bit.
Well, Purdue can be thankful if 3 points is all Notre Dame gets. Even better if Grottle misses this. It will be a try of 28 yards. And from 28 yards out, Grottle's kick is good. And Notre Dame has a 34 television back then, but they've been looking down on events such as this.
Total yards, the key for Notre Dame, really on the ground, and most impressively is the fact that in the 3rd quarter they controlled the ball game, and Lou Holtz has put the ball game in Purdue's lap and say, you beat us, you blink, and we're going to make something happen. And that's exactly the fumble, the mistake, and Notre Dame just controlled the ball game in the 2nd half. And Purdue's taken back a little bit of their personality that they've been plagued with in the last 2 ball games.
429 yards Notre Dame has in total offense. Purdue was last in the Big Ten in total defense last year, giving up 431.7 yards. It would appear as though Notre Dame's going to get more than that today. Taken by the up man, that is Scales, the freshman. He's got outstanding speed and pretty good moves there, doesn't he? Gets the ball out to about the 33-yard line, where the tackle is made there by Notre Dame's number 27, George Streeter. Clemson running away from Bobby Ross in his first year at Georgia Tech. Air Force handling their cross-state rival, Colorado State. Iowa moving out in front of Kansas State 21-7, 2nd quarter. And our score is 34-20 Notre Dame with 13 minutes left. But good or better field position now for Purdue than they've had in some time. Cheney and Medlock are the setbacks. Downing's going to keep this ball himself and ducks under 1 tackler and picks up about 3 yards. Across the 35 to the 37. 2nd down and 7. And you'll have to tell me, Steve, whether that was a design play or he just decided maybe I can make more of it.
Well, it was not an exciting play.
It sure wasn't.
I can tell you that.
Hardy goes wide to the left, and Calvin Williams, who caught a touchdown pass of 20 yards, is wide to the right. From the 38, Downing, the blitz is on, and almost threw the ball to Flash Gordon. Almost threw it right into his hands. Ted Fitzgerald, I think, is the man that got to him first and forced a quick throw. 3rd down.
Doug Downing right now is really shaking a little bit. I think he's making some mistakes. He's the doubts of the pass. He's trying to figure out. It was actually trying to be a shovel pass inside, and it totally broke down because Notre Dame was in a blitz package, and he almost made a very critical mistake. His confidence is rattled right now. Notre Dame can take advantage. You'll see more blitzes, pushing him a little bit more, make him perform.
That was Boldcar who forced that shovel throw. Big play Purdue if they're to stay in this ball game. 3rd and a long 6. They pick up the blitzers. Downing has a man out here and overthrows him. Overthrows Hardy, and Southall was down on the ground, and the ball flipped over his head. A possible interception. And it's 4th down.
Doug Downing has been kind of focusing in on certain receivers today. He's looked at Andy Hardy. This time, this is another one of his wide receivers, Robert Oglesby, the sophomore. And he's open. He's wide open. You've got to look at all your receivers, scan the field, and don't get set in, locked in to one receiver. And that's what's happened. They've been looking to Hardy. He's helped them a lot. You have a tendency sometimes to focus in on the wrong things and not look at the total picture.
Last time we saw Tim Brown, he was catching a ball of almost 50 yards for a score. And now he is standing inside his own 30 as Sean McCarthy will kick the ball to it. On 4th down, Purdue is looking a little bit now, as they did in the first series of downs they had in the first half, where they just could not move. Then they picked it up, but now Notre Dame is putting the pressure on. Very high in the air. Brown at the 24 is going to go the other way, and all flags are everywhere. Brown has got the sidelines, and out of bounds he goes, but a flag is down almost as soon as Brown took off to his right. And that would seem to be an illegal block or a clip. Jim Kemmerling is the referee sorting things out, and he'll tell us. Holding. Back home again in Indiana, and we're right in the middle of Indiana in West Lafayette. Home of Purdue. 11:56 to go. 34-20. Notre Dame leads Purdue before a near sellout crowd at Ross-Age Stadium. Question here: how does Notre Dame play it? Conservatively, keep it on the ground, open it up. Apparently, with Tony Rice, the quarterback, it's on the ground because he's the runner of the quarterbacking crew of Notre Dame. Oh, so saying, he looks as though he's going to put it up, but he's not. Picks up about 4 yards across the 30. A little excited, isn't he? He's a freshman in eligibility, but he's a sophomore in school. Hitchcock and Keevers made the stop. 2nd down and about 5 to go. And now Jefferson comes wide to the left along with Terrell. They give the ball off. And Waters carries the ball for the first time today and gets across the 35 to about the, well, he's got the first down, I do believe, near the 40. Waters out of Harrisburg, Pennsylvania, the freshman.
Watch Fred Strickland, 48. He's taking a chance. It's in the blitz package, trying to make a big play. Give him a chance. He almost does it. Almost gets it. He's almost there before the quarterback Rice is, but he missed him as he shot by. But it was just a chance on their part, trying to make something big in the defensive game.
He missed him, and he missed the handoff. He could have gone for a score. Not much there for Waters. But this is keeping the ball on the ground and running the clock down. 10:50 left in the ball game now.
You're running a 4-3 if you're Purdue. They've got 3 linebackers. Here's another Gerald Williams, one of the other linebackers, making a good effort, again, keeping people away from him. He's got the speed. They think he's going to be a great player, too. He's a junior. He's got another year, primarily keying on the tight end today.
Has an interception and a fumble recovery, Gerald Williams. 2nd down and long. Here's Waters running for the 3rd time and run out of bounds across the way. And that looked like Gerald Williams who took him out of bounds across the way.
The story in the second half, as we look at scores from across the country, has been Notre Dame's ability to come in the ball game and just get physical and really control the clock, the ball, and just put Purdue in a situation where they've got to make something happen, and they've not been able to do it. I keep
Army
seeing
leading
that
the
score.
Citadel.
Who is Kent?
Huh?
Who is Kent?
Kent?
Kent State?
Yes, in Ohio. 3rd.
I'm saying
it's not a person, it's a school.
It's a one-man team.
Looking behind Tony Rice. Probably under a crowd like that, and somebody moved somewhere because a yellow flag is down. Quickly, Mark Foster comes over. to get a word from his defensive coach as Notre Dame has penalized 5 yards. And that makes a big difference for the Irish and for Purdue because it's 3rd down and nearly 10 now.
Kind of got tickled. Last week we had the Daffy Duck offense out of Utah, and now we're watching Kent play an entire team by himself. I'm pretty impressed.
Brett Akers, rebuilding time, says the tradition of the passing will go on at Purdue, but he would like more running. But if you remember Fred Akers at Texas, running was the name of his game. 3rd down and nearly 10 to go. From the 40. Rice is going to do a quarterback draw and pick up the 1st down. And maybe a lot more than that. Good play there by Jackson. No wonder they started him at quarterback today. This young freshman has done an outstanding job, with a notable exception of being beaten by Tim Brown. But a lot of folks have been beaten by Tim Brown. And apparently there's a flag down, and there is at the 49. And it's a clip against Notre Dame. So bring it all back.
You've got to be excited about what Tony Rice is able to do. Here he is. He's a freshman in terms of eligibility. They've blitzed on him. There's nobody in there to support for the run, and now he's dangerous. I mean, he's quick as a hiccup. I mean, he's getting in the secondary, making something happen. And then a great job, as you said, by Steve Jackson to get around the blocker. The blocker did a poor job, but he was able to break down and in the open field make a tackle on a very quick, fast Tony Rice. Watch Williams rush himself, number 47, the outside backer, right out of the play, taking an angle too far. Rice is able to jump in. He's got the containment. He was doing his job, but a little wide path, and gave Rice the chance to make the big play that was negated by the penalty.
3rd down and almost 15 from a 35-yard line. Notre Dame leads by 14. Rice, this time no place to go. They'll have to kick it back to Purdue as Rice is hit down for a loss on the play. Bill Gilday was one of the men in there, number 98. Gerald Williams. Check that. 99 Hitchcock, not 98 Gilday. Hitchcock, matter of fact, started today for Gilday. There is Vince Phelan being called on to punt for the 3rd time. Anthony Hardy is deep, wanting to make something happen for Purdue. They got the rush on, but he gets the kick away, and it's a line drive kick. He should be able to return this, but he misplays the ball. Let it get by him, and now Hardy is in trouble. Down trouble, and there may be a clip called. Best start, as you said, under Johnny Major since going back to his alma mater. By the way, the only man to win the Heisman Trophy from a losing team, which was 2-8, was Paul Hornung. And the second man in the Heisman Trophy winning voting that year was Johnny Major's coach at Tennessee. Was a clip. Ball's back on the 12. 1st down, Purdue. Medlock, the lone setback. Downing gets the ball out here for Hardy, and there's a big battle there, and nothing there at all as John Smagala, the sophomore out of Burbank, Illinois, played that ball, and Hardy perfectly. 2nd down and 10.
Smagala really did a good job. I thought it was bumping him a little bit. I don't know. Let's see what happens. Yeah, well, I think it's mutual affection. I think they're both bumping a little bit.
John, or rather Stan, is probably saying, just going for the ball. 106 yards on 11 for 26 for Doug Downing. 1st half, terrific. 2nd half, problems. Some of it his own. Interceptions. He's fumbled the ball on a snap from center. Now he pitches the ball back, and not much there for Medlock.
That's right. Frank Stam's number 30 is the real key of what he does an excellent job, because if you're an option quarterback, you've got to make something happen. You've got to make the man that has the quarterback, you've got to make him take you and eliminate him out of the play. Stams did a good job of being able to turn his shoulders and play really both the quarterback and the pitch, and he made the play.
Notre Dame has simply shut down Purdue since taking the lead 24-20, and they've extended their lead to 34-20. 3rd down and 7 to go. Purdue gets the ball out here, and it is thrown behind the intended receiver, and it is incomplete as Calvin Williams, who caught a touchdown pass, has to walk off disappointed, and they'll have to kick the ball back to the Fighting Irish.
I really believe the true character of a team comes out in the big games Doug Downing has struggled in the second half. He throws the ball behind. He's been more erratic. Notre Dame has created some of the erratic play of Downing, but still, Doug's got to set his feet, go back to his basics, and throw the ball.
Purdue opens their Big Ten schedule at Minnesota on most of our Big Ten network stations. Next weekend, Notre Dame gets the week off and then goes out on the 10th of October to play at Pittsburgh. In his own end zone, 6'7" Sean McCarthy. Tim Brown just watching this as it'll bounce out of bounds in Purdue territory at the 47.5-yard line.
47-yard line of Purdue.
Next Saturday, again, we won't know till the beginning of the week, so please check your listings. Ohio State at Illinois is one possibility. Michigan State at Iowa the other. In either case, Steve and John and I'll be here at noon Eastern time. And you will see Purdue at Minnesota next Saturday night on many of these Big Ten stations at 7 o'clock Eastern time. Notre Dame with the ball and in control, 34-20, 7:14 to go. First down in Purdue territory at the 48. And there's Mark Green. Green keeps the ball on the ground. Is wrestled down on a fine tackle by number 31, the free safety Mark Foster.
Lou Holtz is at times during the ball game, even when it was in doubt in terms of Notre Dame's play, they've been able to go with second-team players and bring in the second unit. That's tremendous confidence because their schedule, he described to me, was like going through a police barricade. It is a barracuda of a schedule, and he's giving a lot of people a lot of depth and experience.
Tony Brooks carries the ball for the first time. Inside the 35-yard line. There is Doug Downing. His dad is on the sidelines, and he is on the phone upstairs finding out what it is he might be able to do when and if Purdue gets the ball back to get the Boilermakers back in the game.
You have to admire what he's accomplished as a player because he waited for Scott Campbell to lead. He waited for Jim Everett to lead. Then Jeff George was recruited, and he transferred to Illinois. He's waited his turn patiently, and he's been the real favorite of the team, just not have a chance to play.
Here's Tim Brown carrying the football out of the backfield, and Brown picks up nearly 10 yards down to the 25-yard line and may have the full 10 on a first down.
Why I think it's premature to give Tim Brown the Heisman Trophy is it's going to become increasingly difficult to give him a chance to be the big play man because people are going to kick the ball away from him. They're going to experiment with him on a different ways. They're going to focus in on what he can do in the kicking game. He's only coming into this ball game, carried the ball 7 times, 7 receptions and 7 runs, and not really prolific yards or stats. So it'll be interesting to see how they get the ball to him more.
Second down and inches. Johnson has the first down. He also has 3 touchdowns to his credit. Speaking of Tim Brown, he was the focus of attention last week, of course, after the 2 punt returns against Michigan State. The reporters out there writing, and one reporter for a large Eastern newspaper said, Ann, with a smile on her face, "What kind of car do you have?" And he said, "Car? I don't have a car." And that may have been the biggest shock of the interview. Nice young man from Dallas, Texas. He carried the bass drum, and even when he's playing high school football, his mom thought he was still carrying the bass drum. His dad had signed the permission slips for him. First and 10 from the 25. There goes Cornell Taylor, and Taylor gets a couple of yards, and that'll take another 30 seconds off the clock, which now shows 5:18 left.
I promise you, Tim Brown will make more noise with a football than he will with the drums. I promise you.
It's a funny thing about Tim. They were 5-6 last year and lost 5 of those 6 games by a total of 14 points. And 4 of the teams they lost to were in the top 8 in the country. And Brown said 5-6, that's great. I only won 4 in 3 years in high school. You saw what's coming up. Dave Downs with all the scores. Highlights. Second down and long. Real mix up there, diving for the ball. I think Chuck Lonzo did not have the correct snap count, or either that or Andrzak, but nobody moved except the center. Third down. They'll refuse that penalty and keep the ball where it is and take it down off the clock. Mark Green checks back in the backfield for Notre Dame. 34-20, the Irish at one time down 20-17 in the second half. The half ended at 17 all. Terrell wide to the right. Tim Brown is in and is wide to the left. Third down. They're going to give the ball to Brown. And Brown is caught and gets away. Breaks the tackle and still loses ground on the play. Looked like Visco almost had Brown in the backfield. But it's 4th down, and Groddle is coming on. And this will be a much longer field goal than his last one of 28 yards.
Fred Akers, I really believe, is probably one of the most misunderstood coaches in college football. An excellent coach, a great record at Texas. I really believe that Texas missed an opportunity to keep a great football coach, but he is putting his fortunes at Purdue.
44 yards for Groddle. Tell you what, nobody misses anything in the kicking game here today. That's good. Your blimp, America. And there she blows out of Houston, Texas. Notre Dame about to win its 3rd game in a row. Purdue under Fred Akers, the new man in town, will be 0-2-1 after today. Hardy will try to get something going here. Quite a performance today for this little man who came in with a bad knee. Long way for Purdue. Let's go a long way to Champaign and Dave Dials.
Oklahoma proving why it's #1. Still first quarter. Jamel Holloway has scored. Oklahoma leads Tulsa 14-0. Ohio State, LSU trading field goals. The Tigers leading the Buckeyes 10-3. Auburn and Tennessee wind up in a 20-all tie. Back to Jim Simpson.
Sean McCarthy, Dave, is taken over. He is the punter, but he's also the #2 quarterback. And Mashik, a freshman, was in there for 1 play when Downing was ill in the first half. But now Sean McCarthy, Downing is out. McCarthy, a sophomore. He is 6'7". He can see over everybody. Dumps the ball out here. And that is Medlock getting across the 15 to the 17. A pickup of 3 or 4 yards. But that clock is going to kick down near the 2.5-minute mark before the next play comes up. Well, Notre Dame, you were tested today by the Spoilermakers. You trailed today 20-17 in the 3rd quarter. But since that time, you scored 20 points. And Purdue has scored none. 2nd down. McCarthy, he's got an arm. That's Schumacher, the tight end. And he's got a 1st down.
The key to the victory for Notre Dame was the ability really in the 3rd quarter to make the decision to go conservative, to be physical, to test that front line of Purdue. That was the key to the ballgame. But I think Freddie Akers can really build off so many positives for his team. They played a good half. They played a lot of good football. They've got to be pleased with what's happened.
Fly that ball, Kenny, but it's going to be intercepted by Southall. Southall inside the 40, and look out, he may go all the way. Medlock is chasing him. Southall is going to race him and get into the end zone. Touchdown, Notre Dame. A 57-yard return by Corny Southall, a junior out of Rochester, New York.
This will not make the highlight film for Purdue this year, I promise you. What's really frustrating is that McCarthy's got it. Even though he's in the ball game, the game's decided, don't do this. Don't throw a stupid pass like that to a player that can make something happen. They string them out. It just puts everything in a worse position. Purdue could have gone in with their head up. Now they look at the point spread and everything. Everything's come out the way everybody said it would.
For Southall, his 3rd interception, the first for 2 yards. A nearly 50-yard pass reception by Tim Brown, and a 57-yard interception return by Corny Southall, and throwing a couple of field goals by Groddle, and you've got the ball game. Although this is one of the most exciting 44-20 ball games we've witnessed in some time. Purdue in it for almost 3 quarters before Notre Dame began to assert itself. Now Hardy's been taking a pounding on his kick returns. Let's see how he does here. Boy, he takes a shot there but gets away, and now he's put down by Light at the 22 or 3-yard line. Southall doing what comes naturally and what all defensive backs love to do.
McCarthy does a lot of things wrong. I think the first one is even trying to throw the ball. He's throwing off the wrong foot. He's not planted. He throws it up, air ball, trying to hit the blimp, and then Southall is able to come up under it, and now it's all spread out. And he's got great speed, a 57-yard touchdown interception. Not good play. That will not make the highlight film, like I said.
1st down.
That'll get you yelled at, actually, tomorrow in the meeting, what that will do.
Shive is in as a wide receiver. He's new to the game. And now we have Mashik, the freshman, in, and he is going out there complete to Jared Scales. First down. But Mark Mashik, the freshman out of San Antonio, came in just to hand the ball off when Downing was hurt. Threw that pass, and it's incompleted, and a flag is down. It is a face mask, so that'll add some more yardage to that play. There's a first down to begin with, and tack 5 more on. Now, John Snyder, what have you got?
What I have here is a Notre Dame helmet. It's tradition that the Notre Dame helmets are repainted every single week with the gold paint. Now, the Purdue helmets and most other schools across the country repaint them as may be needed throughout the season. However, when you play Notre Dame and bang heads with them for about an hour, almost all the teams that they play throughout the course of the year with this new paint on the helmets will have to repaint their helmets the next week. And Purdue, even though they have gold in their helmets, will have to do some repainting.
Well, it's like washing your car after every light sprinkle. Not everybody does it, but Notre Dame gets out there and refurbishes the outfit once it's been tested for an afternoon. First down, Purdue, 1:35 to go. They're down by 24 points. Let's go. Mashik, the freshman, going out there, and boy, that is a fine play there by Shibe, who we said had just come into the ball game. The junior out of Indianapolis, just down the road. First down at the 34, and Purdue wants to get going behind Mark Mashik. Exciting times for Mashik. He handed off. They got a first down on the handoff in the first half. Comes in, throws 2 passes for first downs. .117. Puts it. Oh, he's got a man wide open, and that is Gerald Scales. And Scales is knocked out of bounds on the 7-yard line with 1:10 to go. Freshman to freshman, first down.
Well, it's really a positive to be able to get him in the ball game. It's unfortunate the circumstances are what they are. Notre Dame blitz is in the situation, trying to make the play. Don't give them any yardage. Give them a little bit, but not a lot. This is too much. Good catch by Lance Shave, number 81.
Now you're talking how Purdue would walk off the field, but if the freshman-led team can put 7 more on the board, they'll feel a little bit better about the whole thing. Notre Dame has really doubled the yardage in both halves over Purdue. Mashik now looking, I believe, for Scales, and is going to be dragged down. Good play there by the defense of Notre Dame. And you saw the man clearly in your picture, number 37, and that is Scout Kowalkowski, an outside linebacker. Not expected to play much today. He is a freshman. Speaking of freshmen, this has been an exciting place to be, this Ross-Ade Stadium, but we're about out of time here and out of the game, and Dave Dials has all the scores and highlights of what's going on in college football, not only in the Big Ten, but around the country once we're through, and we will be through in about 59 seconds of playing time. Lou Holtz can take his team home. They have a week off. They get ready, and then they go on to play Pittsburgh, and then stand by because they get Southern Cal, Boston College, Alabama, Penn State, and Miami. And as Steve Davis pointed out, Lou Holtz has said we're taking them one at a time. Today, for a long time, it was a difficult one at this time, but Notre Dame has persevered.
You know, I was at Notre Dame on Thursday, spent a lot of time, and I think Notre Dame, and everyone knows that there are a few schools, maybe 10 or less, that have the mystique in college football. I promise you, Notre Dame has the mystique, and everywhere they go, they draw attention. People focus in. Generally, they play their best games against them, and if Lou Holtz can go through 11 games undefeated, you ought to give them the national championship, I promise you.
Less than 10,000 enrollment at Notre Dame, but they've been doing this for 100 years. Purdue's been playing football for 100 years. And here's Mashik back, puts the ball out here to Nelson, and Nelson barely gets back to the line of scrimmage, and then another yard or two, and we're down to 45. Whoops, they're going to stop the clock at 47 seconds.
There's some question about just how good Notre Dame is. I really believe they have the ingredients to be an excellent team throughout the year. Their schedule is tough. I mean, like he said, it's a barracuda schedule. We're going through police barricades, but they've got the right ingredients, and as long as they can keep the game in control, I think Notre Dame has a good chance. I think the real problems with Notre Dame right now, though, is to be able to continually develop a running game and be consistent on offense. And then defensively, you know, I think they've been able to control people. And they're going to beat people because of the balance of their team, the way they have kicking, defense, and offense all in perspective, all contributing. And that's what happened today. Their defense came, they rose to the occasion, they controlled the ball game in the third quarter, and that's why they won.
Well, whom will we see next week? Ohio State, Illinois, or Michigan State, Iowa? We'll know, and you will know by Monday of this week. Steve and John and I will be either in Champaign or Iowa City. And Chris Schenkel and Frank Broyles and Gene Washington next Saturday night at 7 o'clock Eastern on many of these stations, Purdue and Minnesota. There's Tim Brown.
Let's go, D! Well, I tell you, what Tim Brown does to people more than anything else, he makes you prepare for the kicking game. And all the lip service about we prepare a third of the time, he will make you, and he can hurt you in so many different dimensions. He's so much like Johnny Rodgers, but he's got more talent, more size. He's a legitimate Heisman Trophy winner. He hadn't won it yet, but he's getting there.
Mashik, 47 seconds to work with, and the blitz on. The freshman puts the ball up and almost, no good, no good. Almost a touchdown. Scheib in the corner of the end zone had a foot out of bounds and juggled the ball. Jeff Alm almost put Mashik in the deck. Alm weighs 242 and was taking dead aim on the 90-pound Mashik.
Well, I tell you, Mashik is a good young quarterback that will get better. He's the player of the future. Purdue's got to look down the line in terms of getting their kind of talent right in the corner. Lance just can't hang on to it and keep it secure.
On fourth down and goal to go. They have to go for it, trailing by 24. It's all academic, but they would like to get on the board. Mashik's got a man, and he can't hold on to the football. Clear in the end zone was Jared Scales, the freshman, and he couldn't hold on to it. And Notre Dame will take over with 34 seconds to go and a 24-point lead.
This is kind of the kiddie core right now. The freshmen are all in the ball game, and these are the people of the future for Purdue that Fred Akers can build on. And Scales almost makes the catch. It was a catchable ball. He just hasn't done it enough, and that's why he didn't put it away.
Come on, D, let's go.
There's Mashik yelling at him to go on. That was Don Grimm, a freshman of Notre Dame, that almost made the interception after the ball went off the hands of Jared Scales. Now Notre Dame has the luxury of just running this out. We'll repeat again. The score at halftime was 17 apiece. Then Purdue nudged ahead 20-17. Turnovers for both teams have been costly. But then Notre Dame's superior talent has worn them down. Steve Bellis is the quarterback now. On a pitch back, that's yet another quarterback in the game, the third for Notre Dame. And this may be the last of the plays. No time has been called yet. They've got plenty of time on the game clock. And Notre Dame, given the scare of its life, has held on and then pulled away. And I'm Jim Simpson with Steve Davis and John Snyder. And we'll see you next week either from Champaign, Illinois or Iowa City. Yet another quarterback, Pete Graham, is coming on. This is the fourth quarterback, each in for one play as they hand off and time runs out. Final score, it's all over at West Lafayette, Indiana. Notre Dame 44, Purdue 20. The Goodyear blimp provided courtesy of the Good